and carry Annie.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. She just get here to give her opinion and carry Annie. It's Chris Avalon, y'all. Welcome and happy Monday. Happy Memorial Day to everybody. You know, those who served, except for that Bone Spurs having motherfucker in the White House. But anyway, it's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Filter. Sorry, I was eating M&Ms. That's why I was a little late by a minute. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to Chris Avalon Filter, a show we basically talk about all things going on in pop culture and hot topics. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today. We got to talk about the box office with the Mandalorian and Grogu and how much money it made and all that good stuff and my overall thoughts because I went to go see it. Plus, we got to talk about Jared Leto, how he's apparently not thrilled with Masters of the Universe, which apparently the studio's okay with. So we'll get into that. Elba's finally opening up about those rumors that he was supposed to play James Bond. I have my thoughts on that and some of the people that I think would be good to play Bond whenever they decide to get that movie off the ground. Because I did hear news that they are looking at this moment. They're starting to do the whole casting process. Plus, we got to talk about the Michael sequel. There were people running around talking about how, oh yeah, they confirmed it, blah, 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 but now it has been officially confirmed by Lionsgate. So we'll talk about it and what they're saying that it will be a big and satisfying movie. I don't see it to believe it, but we'll get into that. Britney Spears, the video was leaked. Apparently, they said they wasn't going to release it, but it was of her DUI situation, and she went and said her mother went unalived a 12-year-old. So we're going to talk about that. K. Michelle's throwing shade at Tamar Braxton for no damn reason, talking about she wanted to do a Verzuz with the Muppet. Plus, she's coming for Porsha Williams and Drew Sidora because she is currently on the Housewives of Atlanta. Cardi B still got her foot on Trashy K, big old Magilla gorilla looking ass neck, in regards to this whole situation about how she hiding $4 million in judgment assets. Shia LaBeouf finally got charged for that Mardi Gras brawl. A rock singer came out who I ain't never heard of ever until now, but I guess because, it's a slow news day on the gay side, we'll talk about it. And usually, quiet as it's can be, usually is a little dry on the gay news side, but they always find ways to make a story. But anyway, there is a rock singer from this band called Beartooth that has come out as a homosexual. And speaking of homosexuals, we got to get into this Courtney interview over there with Kelly Mantle, where she talked about how RuPaul blocked her after she kind of went in on her over using a transphobic slur on Drag Race back in the day. I'll refresh y'all memories in case y'all don't remember when we get to that point. Plus, for the first time in a while, I felt compelled to do a recap of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 11, because that fourth episode, that was the best episode of the whole season so far. So we got to talk about that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We also have super chats. We have super stickers that you can kind of purchase and all that good stuff. Wait, hold on. That was not the thing I was trying to do. There was something I was looking for. Oh yeah, I had to forgetting to change my whole mic thing, but I just did it while I was talking to y'all. And also, shout out to all the newbies that have subscribed to the show because I just saw one of my latest videos is starting to blow up. The one that I did about Ryan Murphy and his debate on Madonna being one of the most important artists of the past 50 years. Of course, it struck up a whole situation. I got into an unnecessary argument on social media because somebody decided to bring up, oh, well, no, it's Whitney Houston, and started to bring up vocalists and all the other stuff. And it's like, important artists of the past the past 50 years, meaning cultural impact of what they bring to the table, completely different than vocal ability. If we was going to talk vocal ability, of course, Whitney Houston eats Madonna down, no shade. Helen Keller could tell you that shit. But of course, people want to come in and try to move goalposts when they want to spew their hate. And I brought it up, I explained it. But of course, when MFers don't want to listen and learn because they think they know every goddamn thing and think they know music when they don't. I can speak from experience because of me working in the industry and also having an ear for music and studying music growing up. I think I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But when people jump online a bunch of damn nobodies jump online thinking they know can put together a whole online discourse when they don't know what the fuck they talking about. Then it's like, okay, here I go. But some of my friends was like, shout out to Dante and Felix. Oh, speaking of Felix, shout out to you. Sorry for the loss of your mother, by the way. Friend to the show, Felix. In case people didn't know, his mother passed away, I think yesterday. And so condolences to him. But I mean, I don't know if you in the chat because I ain't checked the comments yet, but condolences. Also, so there was a point where like tag me in, like let me but I'm strictly a Virgo. Y'all know how that is. We try to handle everything on our own. I was like, I don't need no backup because one time I did that. Why you need backup? Bitch, I don't need backup, but I need somebody else come up in here and read your ass down to the ground because you think you know every damn thing and don't know shit. So when people come over there that I know that could speak on them exact facts, and this is not just with celebrity news and gossip, it's politics too. And when you choose to be obtuse in situations, and I'm trying to explain to you in the nicest way possible, because I always try to give people the benefit of that. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna always go, like come down, swoop down on you, and just berate you and call you dumb and all the other stuff. I know people that will do that, and when I try to be nice, and you ain't getting it because the brick wall is hitting, or you choose to not listen and learn, then I got to call the reinforcements, the ones who aren't as nice to come in. So I didn't do it. So I told him to go stand in the middle of the highway and wait for an 18-wheeler to hit him, and then I blocked him because I got to protect the brand, meaning I got to protect my channels from not getting taken down. And I'm at a point where I can monetize my Facebook reels, so I had to do that 1-2 punch and then do the blockation so that way I could protect my situation. But instead, I should have let the other people who have nothing to lose, and that's where I learned. Next time, I'm gonna just let my backup come in and really hit them with the 1-2 punch, so that way I can protect my brand and everything else I got going over here. But trust me, you know, I reads down anyway. Um, Let me hit the thingamabob. Hello and welcome back. Really? It is a sunny day in New York. The homosexual gyms and bars will be packed. Well, yeah, because it's Memorial Day weekend. I should go out, but I don't want. Why? Oh, because they killed off Jacob Elordi. Yeah, I already know the team. Um, he got hit. He got bit by a rattlesnake. I'm like, really? And then, of course, yet again, another episode of Sydney Sweeney showing up them baboon titties, which I'm sure lots of boys was jerking off watching that sequence. Okay, so come on, Chris, tell me you wouldn't take Porsha over. Well, I did watch that recent clip of Don Lemon interviewing Godfrey, which was actually pretty funny. If y'all have a chance, watch that one because he was really good with. Wait, what was that? You said Dante is definitely You talking about Dante? Don't do that. We got people in the comment. I mean, that's part of the show, and you up in here trying to read the fellow constituents. My condolences to you, Felix, and your family. Robert's in the building. Cleveland's also in the building. Does RuPaul identify as a man? Yes, he does. Last I checked. But he's been dragged for saying transphobic shit. He won't be the first and he won't be the last. But anyway, let me hit the banner. And without further ado, oh yeah. I was having a conversation about that earlier with a friend of mine in regards to the whole Hassan situation and the Democrats out here literally wanting him gone. And I see why they want him gone because he's a threat to the corporate centrist democratic regime. He's a danger to that because when he's calling out what they're doing or the lack thereof, they don't like it, or they don't like the fact that when they've been playing the game and cucking themselves to the wealthy and all that other stuff, and that's not working. They're still over here not denouncing Israel and all the other things that they've been called out about, putting out a bullshit ass DNC report. And we're sitting there breaking it down and talking about it. They're getting mad when you actually have a young person who has his finger on the pulse of what everybody's thinking, and the awakened, or should we say the woke Democrats, the ones that are actually awake and alert and understand what's going on and is tired of the bullshit and the status quo. Hence why people voted for Trump the first time. But then they realized, most people realized he was a goddamn con man and a liar and pretty much a part of the very 1% that they talked about they were against. But y'all forgot. A lot of us didn't over in New York because we knew the silver spoon situation he grew up in because we were seeing it happen in real time. But the internet is a funny thing where people just, I mean, they are some big old baboon titties. Spencer Pratt is putting out funny. He is so annoying. Yes, free Hassan. Free my big booty, tall drink of water. That man got a big old ass. Shout out to him and all that cake. But anyway, let's get into the show. While Shadow's girl talks about free Hassan, we gonna need them shirts with the hashtag included. But anyway, let's get to topic number one. And let's talk about box office. So yeah, I did go see Mandalorian and Grogu over the weekend. For the most part, it was entertaining. I saw it in IMAX. First of all, I was pissed because number one, there was some big motherfucker that decided to come up in there and just go right to damn sleep and was snoring. So I'm like, how you come in? And this is why I hate about these big tentpole films. Y'all, this is the main ones. Y'all come up in there and just want to yuck on my, just ruin my whole fun. Yuck my yum, I guess is the phrase. And then this fucking couple who I was this close to cussing out. First of all, you showed up late. And then number two, you're going to sit a couple of feet away from me and then just have a whole conversation. Talk to your bitch when you leave. How about that? I don't need to be hearing y'all whole conversation or whatever it is while you're in the middle of watching a movie. Like, don't come to the fucking movie. It's always niggas that be trying me with this bullshit. Always running their damn mouth. Then it was one guy that came up in there that was dressed as Mandalorian, which was pretty cool. The only thing he forgot to do was turn off that little flashlight thingy that was attached to the helmet, which somebody had to tell him not to, turn it off. And he listened. But other than that, seeing it in IMAX is cool. Visually, it looked great. The only things I will say that the CGI looked bad on was Rada the Hutt and the twins. The Hutt twins, the ones who I believe were Jabba's siblings, who was running the ship running everything while Rada got kidnapped, and he was basically trying to pay off his debt to some dude, and he was doing like little like MMA type fighting, or whatever, like fights to the death, very gladiator style. And Jeremy Allen White as the voice was actually good. The CGI on that was a chop. Thinking about this now, and I said this in the beginning, and I'm glad that in a way I was proven right, we did not need Mandalorian and Grogu to be in theaters. That could have just been put straight to Disney Plus, and that would have been the end of it. And I think people would have watched it. But for the most part, when I watched it, I'm just like, it literally feels and looks like a regular episode because they spent a good amount of money on the Mandalorian series when we watched it. And we're like, the special effects did what it needed to do when we watch it on a small screen. So and these days, what is considered a small screen, right? Because everybody's got like these ginormous ass TVs with 3D, all kinds of other stuff in it. Like the screens at home now rival the big screens in theaters. So, and then plus you got put a sound bar and stuff in your house. You got your reclining chairs, all that stuff. You can pretty much people have created their own theater in their own home. So watching it on an IMAX screen, I guess in my head it was like, okay, it's cool because IMAX theater, I love the movies, all that stuff. So I wasn't feeling no ways tired about it. But quiet as it's kept, you could have just sat at home and got the same damn experience watching the movie. So it really didn't feel any better. I mean, any different. And I know there's and I think also what Disney doesn't realize is that there's certain expectations that comes with watching like in any Star Wars film. It's such a big tentpole thing. It's such a big deal because it's like larger than like space and all these big ships and great amazing sets and special effects. Like it's such a big grandiose thing that comes with watching a Star Wars movie that I feel like whoever was in well, can we blame Kathleen Kennedy? I mean, and all the other people that's a part of that whole thing. Disney has ruined what Star Wars should have been. And then I don't know when it started. Maybe it started around episode 7, where there was so much potential with Rey and Poe and Kylo Ren and who was oh yeah, I said Rey, Poe, Kylo Ren, and Finn. Almost forgot about him. That whole situation. The way they started off that franchise, episode 7, was awesome. Then it's like y'all started to puss out once we got to episode 8. Don't even get me started on that Rise of Skywalker movie. That is like the biggest shit smear I've ever seen in that entire franchise. I definitely did enjoy Solo, but nobody went to go see it in the theater. I did like oh my god, what was the movie that was a prequel to, not necessarily a prequel. It was Andor. That show was based off of the movie or whatever. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. I'm drawing a blank. But so there were other pieces of the films and stuff that I definitely enjoyed, those side quests and all those other stuff. But for the most part, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe I'm hoping and praying that this last Starfighter movie with Ryan Gosling will definitely get the Mandalorian franchise back on track. And maybe y'all need to explore other worlds in the Star Wars universe outside of the Skywalker, because I'm sick of y'all with the Skywalkers. I'm sick of y'all with Darth damn Vader. I didn't even get around to watching that series, the animated series with Darth Maul, which I heard is actually really good. I had to get around to watching that. I even, child, don't even throw tomatoes at me, but I didn't even watch the second season of Andor, and I heard that was really good too. So I got to get around to that. But in regards to the fact, let's get into, so now that y'all got my little overall review. Oh yeah, Pedro Pascal was good in the movie. For a little sidebar, I did not know this. That the guy that dresses up as Mando, that, because in the helmet, the action sequences, that is not Pedro Pascal, and there's no shame. I'm not saying he can't do action, because we've seen him do action, but the stand-in when he's in the full regalia, I had no idea that. I mean, he's a nepo baby, but I had no idea that was the person that was playing him was um Brendan Wayne, who is the grandson of John Wayne. I had no idea who that was until I just read an article on Variety where they was talking about it. So I'm like, that's who that was under there. So that's who was playing him. And then of course there is a scene in the movie where you see they take the helmet off. The Hutt twins, they take what is it? Rada's uncles take the helmet off or whatever. Well, they can't take it off because they have no hands. But they had one of the henchmen take the hands off, bend the helmet off, and you see him, and he has this one little action sequence. Oh, before I forget, I actually like the idea that they had Grogu have his little scene where Mando gets captured, and Grogu and these little creatures that were repairing or like doing work on Mando's ship, they had to go and because one of their creatures, one of their little people got kidnapped. So seeing them go on this adventure to try to rescue Mando was actually cool, and how Grogu builds this little thing because he got poisoned at one scene and was going to die, and he comes and actually there's a whole sequence where he's actually caring for Mando while he's got this poison in him and builds this thing where he puts him in it. So there were like and little funny moments in there too. So there were things in the movie that you're gonna enjoy. It's a lot of action, a lot of really cool sequences. So you'll enjoy the movie as a whole. But as far as like the story and the plot and everything, it was but it just felt like one big adventure in a 2-hour movie. That's what it was. So with all that being said, because I spent all that time giving my little review, let's get into the box office report. So, Disney's The Mandalorian Grogu ignited to 100 million at the domestic box office over the Memorial Day weekend. That's ever so slightly behind Sunday's estimates of 102 million for the 4-day frame, which includes 81 million over the traditional weekend. The Star Wars spinoff, a continuation of the popular Disney Plus streaming series, also collected a softer 63 million from international markets for a global debut of 163 million over the 4-day period. The Mandalorian Grogu is significant as the first Star Wars movie in 7 years since 2019's saga, including billion-dollar tentpole The Rise of Skywalker, even though I told her that movie is a piece of shit. As Star Wars owner Lucasfilm failed for years to launch a new theatrical film, the company turned its attention to the small screen with Disney Plus shows like The Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka, as well as Andor and Skeleton Crew. I actually like that was another one too. I like Skeleton Crew. I don't know if it's coming back. And the little girl who actually was supposed to play in that new Buffy spinoff was actually on that show. So I don't know what's happening with Skeleton Crew. Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka. I mean, I heard it's getting season 2, and I like Rosario Dawson, but the first season really just didn't do it for me. Now, they said, so is Star Wars still a cinematic property? Box office analysts believe it's too soon to tell. They suggested the film's second weekend in theaters will be better indicate whether The Mandalorian Grogu is only appealing to fans of the series or if it'll break out among families. For now, ticket sales are roughly even with Lucasfilm's last spin-off attempt, Solo: A Star Wars Story, which arrived over Memorial Day in 2018 and ended in disaster. That movie opened to 103 million through the 4-day holiday, including 84 million over the traditional weekend and 168 million globally, not adjusted for inflation. With lackluster reviews and tepid word of mouth, Solo left the big screen with just 392 million globally to become the first Star Wars movie ever to lose money in its theatrical run. Part of the issue was Solo carried a child. They spent $300 million on that budget and it only made back 100 million. See, that's what you have to do. If you're going to do a franchise or anything that you're not like people aren't really that sure of in regards of, because look, Han Solo was Harrison Ford. If you're not going to bring Harrison Ford back, if you're going to try somebody new like Alden Ehrenreich, who played Solo, a younger version, you can't come in there with no $300 million budget. You're gonna have to shoot for maybe 60 to 80 million. I know that might be crazy to say, or maybe I was gonna say maybe even 100 million, but the movie only brought in like, well, it did say that 392 million. So if they would have did maybe 100, 110 million, it would have did well enough. I know some people probably wouldn't think that 392 would be any better, but it's better than you spending $300 million on a movie and literally 392 globally is what you brought in. You made back the budget, but what about the marketing and everything else that goes into that? So the Mandalorian and Grogu was less expensive, costing roughly 165 billion to produce, and seems to have far better word of mouth from critics and audiences. But the Mandalorian and Grogu will need staying power to prove that younger audiences care about a galaxy far, far away. Jon Favreau directed the film, which stars Pedro Pascal's Din Djarin and his adorable green sidekick as they navigate the galaxy that's recovering from the fall of the evil empire. Now, second place came one of the biggest horror hits nobody, I don't think, saw coming was Obsession. I still haven't watched the movie. I want to go see it, but I did hear a rumor, and I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I've seen a couple of the horror blogs reporting it. What is the point of me going to the movies when the shit's about to be out next week? What is it? Like, what's today's date? 25th. So yeah, it's supposed to be, I believe, next week, the second, June 2nd, I believe, they're dropping an unrated version with way more gore or whatever in this film than what you got theatrically. It's the point of me going to the movies. I just wait next week. More than likely, because everybody's saying so many high things about it, I might buy it. But I think on the safe side, I'll just rent it first. And if I like it, then I'll buy it. But I'm like, I'll just wait till next week. Then it comes out on digital and just watch it. Like, what's the point of me going to the movies now? Because y'all just don't give people, and I think that may also hurt Mandalorian Grogu. Y'all already set this precedence that movies come out and then 25, 30 days later, it's already available to watch at home. So what's the point of going to the movies? Because and it's like the pandemic is over, well, for now, because we might end up in another one with this idiotic administration or regime. Sorry, not an administration, but um with the, like, that was why we were doing that, because of the whole COVID thing. We moved on beyond that, although they're talking about there's an Ebola virus spread. So that we might have to they might have to end up with that whole situation like before. So yeah, so Obsession, let's get into that. The film amassed 23.9 million over the weekend and 30.3 million through Monday, an unprecedented 39% increase from its strong debut. It's an especially uncommon occurrence for horror, a genre that's notorious for falling sharply after the opening weekend. Well, I think it's because this movie is gaining traction because of word of mouth. If we're talking like slasher film, like Scream or whatever the case is, yeah, there's a big fall off the second week because it's front loaded. People want to go see the movie the first weekend because they want to avoid all the damn spoilers. So when it comes to a slasher, yeah, those movies are front loaded. People are going to go see it opening weekend, and then you'll see a significant drop. With a movie like Obsession, people are like, oh my God, did you see that movie Obsession? Like, it's crazy. And then like you start telling people what it's about, there comes that point of FOMO. And so now I gotta go see this movie that everybody's talking about because I didn't know at first. And then another movie came out this weekend too. I'm gonna see. I didn't read this article through. So Passenger was another one that came out. I wanted to see that one too, and I didn't even know that came out. That was coming out this. I'm like, ain't that kind of close? Like you just had Obsession come out, now you got Passengers, which or Passenger. That actually looked like a pretty cool concept. When I first saw the teaser, I was like, I don't know. But then I was in the theater. I forgot what I went to go see. Might have been They Will Kill You, one of those films. But they showed an extended trailer, and I was like, okay, now this actually looks interesting. And I've heard it's gotten great reviews. So they said Obsession has generated a remarkable 60.7 million in North America and 75 million worldwide, which we told y'all the movie was made for less than $1 million. So it's a huge juggernaut. And it's great that this movie was made for under, they said from 400,000 to $1 million might be the budget on this. So, and they said it will easily become one of the year's most profitable releases. Now, YouTube breakout Curry Barker directed the well-reviewed and positively received Obsession. And for those of you who don't know, he is directing a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. If people love it, if people are loving this movie as much as they're loving it. Now, two other newcomers that I just brought up. Passenger. And did y'all know that Keke Palmer released a movie called I Love Boosters? Now I knew about it because I seen the trailer for the first time when I went to the movies. Because I didn't even know about this film until I saw the trailer of the movies. And then I saw like they have like the big what do you call those? Like the big advertisements in the movie theater. So that's where I was like, oh, so and then when I saw the trailer, I'm like, the trailer looks actually entertaining. And I heard it's a good movie, but I don't know if I Love Boosters is doing all that. Wow. So, but they both came in, they launched outside the top five. They said that Passenger opened up to number six with 10.5 million on Friday, including 8.7 million over the traditional weekend. And it's gotten mixed reviews, 42% on Rotten Tomatoes, as well as a B minus cinema score grade, and it cost $15 million to produce. So 10.5 million, it made opening weekend, 15 is the budget. We'll just have to see if they can recoup all of that in time. Now, I love boosters. Um, Debuted in eighth place with 4.7 million through the 4-day frame, including 3.8 million over the traditional weekend. Boots Riley, Sorry to Bother You, directed the film about professional shoplifters portrayed by Keke Palmer, Naomi Ackie, and Taylor Page, who target a cutthroat fashion mogul played by Demi Moore. Now, critics dug Boosters, which holds a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, while audiences were mixed, giving a B grade on Cinema Score, and it was made for, it's been produced with $20 million. So I definitely want to see that film. I don't know if I want to go to the movies and see it, but I'll definitely see it when it comes out. And that was also I Love Boosters. That was the movie that Melissa Barrera revealed in an interview that she actually, when she was going through her little blackballing situation from Hollywood, Boots Riley actually DM'd her and asked her to be in their film. So, and she turned it down because she wanted to do that damn show with Simu Liu over there on Peacock, which a lot of y'all didn't like. So, but I guess because it was more money and more episodes you do, the more money you make, or you get a steady paycheck in that meantime versus just a flat fee doing your movie, she decided to go with the show. So you could have had a good critically acclaimed situation on your resume if you would have just went with the movie, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is pretty much the box office report on this situation. And so I definitely want to hear from you all. What do you think of this story? Have you seen The Mandalorian Grogu? Did you check out Passengers? Did you check out I Love Boosters? That was me trying to do a reenactment of I Love Rumors. So yeah, did you see any of the movies? What did you think of the box office report? Whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. Hold on, because I just always forget I gotta open up my this little thing where I can read your comments. Have I? No. You said I want to see Obsession. I heard it's really good. I want to see it, but like I said before, I might just wait until next week because if it's um I'm gonna wait until next week. Because I'm like, if they're going to release an unrated version on digital, then what's the point of me going and sitting in a theater, even though I have A list and I don't, the A list pays for the ticket. I'll just wait until it comes out next week. I don't even know how the film industry still makes money by people going. So thank you. I don't understand why it couldn't have been a 2-hour series finale. Wait, we talking about Euphoria or we talking about Mandalorian and Grogu? Um, Also, they kind of left it open where there would be, more adventures down the road. I don't know if it'll happen, but we'll see. And I was talking about you earlier when we was talking about that whole thing about Ganta. And that, when I send y'all them screenshots of that idiot who goes to the movies these days, they close most of the theaters down in New York. Which ones? Because I go to AMC and AMC's are open. AMC and Regal are still thriving. Um, iPix, I think, are struggling. I know we have what's the movie theater, the dine-in theaters? I mean, AMC also has dine-in theaters, but what's the I forget what the little dine-in theater ones that they have. I know they said the unrated version is streaming June 2nd. That's what I said. I'm gonna just wait till next week. But I don't think it's streaming. I think you just gotta rent it or buy it. But it's too early for it to stream. You probably gotta wait until July or something for it to officially end up on streaming because they already got The Bride, that movie that Maggie Gyllenhaal directed. That's already on HBO Max, and I heard so many mixed reviews on it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch it, but I guess I'll give it a gander. Disney has overexposed Star Wars, but the killer is the Star Wars spinoff series are great. They have yet to create a bad series for Star. Well, I did name a couple of series that just wasn't hitting. I mean, I didn't particularly care for the Boba Fett one. Didn't particularly care for what was the other one? The Acolyte. That was terrible. Terrible. I bailed after the first. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Even though I love Carrie Ann Moss, but that show was a chop. Andor is good. I like Skeleton Crew. So they've had a couple, but they've had a couple of misses too. I'll wait for the Chinese guy to sell. First of all, still going around buying bootlegs from the barbershop. 100 million. What? I didn't even know the movie was out. Which one? Mandalorian and Grogu? You said the film isn't going to be a blockbuster due to the fact that you have a full-fledged series that you have a backstory to. So why waste money? And that's what I was saying. You can't take that risk of, oh yeah, it's a TV series. We're just gonna throw it in the movies. I'm like, no. If people have been if it's been easily accessible through Disney Plus, why would I spend money to go to the theater? It doesn't make sense unless you're like a real big Star Wars Mandalorian fan. Then you'll just go regardless. Yes, she can. First of all, did y'all see that she was at DC Pride over the weekend? I said, here y'all go with and was mad because she was given the bare minimum. I'm like, what was you expecting? When y'all keep inviting these straight allies to the goddamn cookout for notoriety and clout, or to say, oh yeah, I was in the room with Nene. It's the same effect of what y'all got with Jules, with what's her name? Solange's son. Y'all keep inviting these straight people to these places. And I did see y'all had Lloyd up there singing, which I don't mind because Lloyd's like, I'm here for the coin. At least I'm gonna give y'all the performance and everything. And he was up there doing good, he was singing, still cute. I used to have a big old crush on Lloyd back in the day, even though them songs really wasn't hitting. He had maybe like 2 or 3 good songs, but I was like, oh, who that? Shout out to Murder Inc. What is obsession about? Is about this kid who has a thing for this girl, but doesn't have the balls to actually go up and ask her out or whatever the case is. So he comes upon this thing and then he can make a wish. He snaps it very much like the old lady in Weapons. And then the girl actually falls in love with him, but then there's a dark side to that little thing that he did. So that's what that's about. You could have just asked her out. You wouldn't have to deal with the stuff you're dealing with. And then, of course, hearing the story that he ain't all that innocent as he's crying up to me. And I bring snacks. There's been times where I will literally go to the deli before I go to the movie because I always go early. And I'll go and I'll buy a whole breakfast situation. I'll probably get like a sausage, egg, and cheese on a roll. I mean, not a roll. I do a hero because I'm like, I need to be full. So by the time I'm done with the movie, I go right to the gym and work it off. So and then I'll get like one of those parfaits, those little healthy parfait situations, and then I'll get me my coffee. It's always a cold brew, black. You know, people don't know how. It's like, how you drink coffee black? Easy. It tastes. It's fine, and you don't get all that extra sugary stuff up in it. I'm just drinking it straight up black. And I'll probably add like the little foam and stuff up top. That's as much sugar as I'm getting from it. So yeah, and I'll be up in there eating my food. There'll be times where I'll be going to get the concessions, but the concessions is expensive. Like I'm spending this money on the A-list as a whole now, because I think it went up. It's like $30. But then concessions is $30. A large drink and maybe if I get chicken tenders and fries, even that I can't even eat the whole thing of because it'd be too much, or the popcorn. I don't want to do the popcorn because popcorn gets stuck in your teeth. And some of the candy there, it's like once you open it, there's no resealable bag situation. So I'm like, I gotta eat the whole thing. And sometimes I don't want to eat all of the candy all up in one sitting. I want to save it. So I don't get the candy for that reason. So I just go to the store, buy my own stuff and bring it up in there. What they gonna say? It's in my bag. They don't have metal detectors that you have to put your bags through. I saw a passenger, and I will say it started good, but so you saying wait for it to come out on streaming. Keke Palmer, while I love her personally, is movie killer for me. I heard Boosters is a good film, but it's not something outside of what she normally does. Sidebar, shout out to all the A-listers that's running around here doing videos to Slater's dance song. It's a new trend because um Keke Palmer did one and Slater loved it. And then yesterday, Courtney Love did one. So I'm just like, okay, now if Courtney Love is out here loving Slater, that's you've made it. Because you get a seal of approval from a rock chick. One of the messiest rock chicks, but nevertheless a rock chick legend. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Jared Leto. So apparently, I'm sure y'all already know, and you probably can't tell from all that damn makeup or whatever it is they got him on. I don't know if it's the dots on his face and it's done through CGI or if it's actual makeup. I don't know because we've seen little quick shots of him, but I need to get a good look at his whole aesthetic before I make a decision. But anyway, Jared Leto was playing Skeletor in the new Masters of the Universe movie, and apparently they're saying that um he's not happy with the movie because they're not using him in the promos. And my thing is this: nobody knows it's you, sir. So what's the point? I mean, they know you because they're being told it's you from the advertisements or whatever the case is. But if you in full regalia where you're not even seeing your face, why do we need you to promote? And then plus, there's also things that you've done in your past that people are saying like Amazon don't want to mess with that. So let's get into the story. Because yeah, he's apparently upset about the whole marketing push. And shout out to Comic Book Movie for this story. It says Master of the Universe is set to release in theaters on June 5th, and Amazon, MGM, and Sony Pictures have begun their financial promotional push with trailers, TV spots, posters, and several BTS promos featuring interviews with the main cast members. With one notable exception. Fans have already started to notice the Morbius star, Jared Leto, who plays the movie's big bad Skeletor, hasn't promoted Master of the Universe, or as they like to call it for short, Moto, at all on any of his social media accounts, didn't appear at CinemaCon, and was conspicuously absent from the recent world premiere in LA. Sidebar, I definitely love that whole design that they did um with the LA premiere where they had the giant castle gray skull outside and everybody was going in. And then I saw a guy's YouTube video where he was like he got invited to go to the premiere and he was holding the sword and doing like these little video shots and everything. And then he got to ride Cringer. So like a literally like a bull. They had a bull Cringer type situation. You could ride it and all. So they had a lot of really cool stuff, and it seemed like they were really like they went all out for the fans of Motu. I also like the idea that they're leaning more into the camp aspect and everything. And funny enough, what I really wish they would have did, but it just goes to show that Amazon, y'all was scared and y'all didn't know how to promote this film, and lean into the things that we love about the '80s cartoon and the whole action figure situation. That final trailer y'all just released, that is that should have been the first trailer that you guys should have used to give people an idea what this film is about. Like it's got this Guardians of the Galaxy, Flash Gordon type of tone to it. And two movies I love Guardians of the Galaxy. Say what you want about Chris Pratt, but I love the movie because it's James Gunn and it's got that whole, it's got that whole 80s rocker type vibe to it, but it's colorful, it's loud, it's rock and roll, it's fun. And it's kind of that was the same thing we got from Flash Gordon. I love Flash Gordon. Ball worms, where's ball worms? I love that freaking movie. I even own it. It's so campy. It's so colorful. It's so crazy. And that Queen soundtrack. And on top, speaking of Queen, what I also love about this movie is that they got Brian May to do the music, who was a guitarist from Queen. So Brian May is a part of working on the music for the film, and everybody's saying the soundtrack is awesome. I haven't heard it yet. I'm gonna wait. I want to wait until I go to the movies to see it. Sidebar: I totally forgot to bring this up. Ludwig Göransson's score for Mandalorian Grogu is awesome. I was loving every minute of it. I forgot to bring that up when we did the last Mandalorian Grogu video, but when we talked about the box office and everything. But yeah, Ludwig Göransson's music, the score for that movie is awesome. He did the music for Sinners and a bunch of other movies. In case you didn't know who that was, but anyway, so now, according to a new, let's get back into the story. I just want to get that out of the way before I forget it. All that extra pomp and circus I had to add to the story. So now, according to a new report from Puck News, Leto wasn't thrilled with the film, but there seems to be a lot more to it. What any specifics as to what it was that he wasn't necessarily thrilled about? I mean, I don't mind the voice. I heard some people complaining that about the voice that he does in the film. I don't mind it. It's very different than what we got. I mean, I like Frank Langella's voice in the original Master of the Universe, giving very Shakespearean. I'll get very evil. Whatever. I don't want to hear. You haven't heard the last of me, He-Man. But you can't bring that in this movie. It's going to sound crazy. So you have to bring a whole nother angle to playing like Skeletor. And I don't mind the voice that they have him doing in here. So yeah, they said setting aside the accusations of inappropriate behavior, which studios are usually happy to do as long as an actor can turn them a profit, with multiple women and even his own castmates, Leto has proven to be box office poison over the years, with several major studio releases, including Disney's recent Tron Ares, underperforming or bombing outright. The blame can't all be laid at Leto's feet, of course, but perception is reality, and the studios seem to feel that highlighting the fact that the Academy Award winner has a lead role in a reboot, even if he is unrecognizable as the skull-faced villain, isn't going to do the film any favors. Now, early opening weekend box office tracking for Motu is in the $25 to $35 million range, which really wouldn't be a great start for a movie with a reported production budget of 175 million. Perhaps having Leto promote the movie is simply a risk Amazon and Sony would rather not take. Still, early reactions were mostly very positive. Funnily enough, Leto Skeletor is said to be a highlight. So Masters of the Universe could wind up exceeding the expectations. So I'm actually looking forward to this movie. Travis Knight, I'm a real big fan of his. He was the only reason why I was having high hopes for Motu, because Travis Knight, what he did with Kubo and the Two Strings, what he also did with what was the other movie he did? Bumblebee. When he did that film, I liked it. Like that was and I told her this the last time. Since the first Transformers, Bumblebee was one of the best Transformers movies to come out of the franchise, because not only they have great action sequences, but it also had heart. And it's like, if you know what you're getting when you watch this movie, you give it a little heart, if you ground it, if you do all these other things, people will come and watch this movie. And I definitely have high hopes for Motu when it comes out. As far as like whether or not it'll accumulate a big audience to go see it, I don't know. Like me, as somebody who grew up on Motu, like having the Castle Grayskull, the Snake Mountain, all the action figures and everything that was going along with it, I'm there opening weekend because this is my wheelhouse. But trying to market it to a newer generation or getting more families to show up to this film, I don't know. Maybe word of mouth is what's going to help propel Masters of the Universe to, box office success. But and from what I heard, there are three. There's a pre credit scene. There's three credit scenes in the film. A pre-credit scene, a mid-credit scene, a post-credit scene. So that's why I'm hearing like we got to stay for all of those. And from what I heard, like all the credit scenes, they fit, they make sense, and hopefully, if this movie does well, and I'm hoping one of them has to be an appearance of Shira, um, or setting it up for the next film, that this will be a way that it will launch a franchise for this thing. Because Master Universe, I know some people are like, well, it's too little too late. Who is this movie for? Yeah, it's for a certain generation that grew up on it, but outside of that, I don't think enough people care. But we shall see when the movie comes out. So, on that note, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding the reason of? I don't think they really explained what it was that Jared Leto wasn't pleased about the film. I understand maybe he's upset because they won't use him to promote the movie, but people deem him problematic, and I don't know if they want to take that risk. They want to heavily rely on Nicholas Galitzine and Idris Elba and all the other cast members who were in it, believe um, him out. And it does definitely makes valid sense because, yeah, Jared Leto's movies have not been box office gold because they do look the other way when Hollywood whenever there's a problematic actor, they will look the other way if the movie makes a lot of money. But when the movies are starting to take a dip financially, then all of a sudden they don't remember who your ass is. So suck it up, buttercup. Apparently you don't have as much power and say so as you used to, because people don't think that you're a big enough box office draw. Every movie you've been in so far has been a flop. I mean, I love, even though you weren't the lead in it, you had a part in it, Blade Runner 2049. Movie didn't do that well, even though it's a great film. Movie didn't do well. Tron Ares was a hot ass mess, didn't do well, and you shouldn't have been the lead of that film. I really wanted a Sam Flynn Cora story. So Disney messed up on that. But all of that other extra stuff is another conversation for a whole nother day. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. France is skipping theaters. It's going straight to streaming for Motu, but it sounds like internationally it's skipping theaters. It's only coming to theaters in the US. Universal saw the numbers and is skipping theaters as they own the internet. That's so stupid. Why wouldn't they? Amazon, they'll definitely drop the ball with this movie, because I feel like y'all weren't confident in what you had put together. If you would have released that recent trailer as the first trailer, because I told you when I saw the first trailer for that film, I'm like, oh no, it's not hitting. I'm kind of disappointed. But I was holding out because of Travis Knight. Then they released a second trailer and then another trailer. And I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. Then I watched that final trailer. I was like, yeah, you're finally giving me all the vibes and the feels of what I've been wanting from this movie. But at this point, it's too little too late. It's like, for me, I'm like, I'll give you a couple of chances, but but with a lot of other people, you only got one chance to make a first impression. We finally got we got Scream 7 score by Michael Bertrami on platforms, and it's coming to Paramount Plus on Thursday. Well, that's good. I hate Jared Leto and his soulless eyes. Well, he definitely comes across as soulless. So you hit the nail on the head with that one. All right, y'all. So now, speaking of Idris Elba, let's get into this story, because for a long time there have been rumors that Idris Elba was in talks to play James Bond in an upcoming James Bond reboot once Daniel Craig stepped down. That's been floating around for years. However, Idris has finally come to and responded on this and says he was never in the running, even though a lot of people are running around here saying that he was. So shout out to Dark Horizons for this story. It says Amazon MGM Studios announced earlier that the search for the next James Bond is underway. This is another Amazon property, with the casting process expected to take place this summer. The Golden Globe winning The Wire and upcoming Masters of the Universe star has long been one of the most common names suggested as ideal James Bond candidate for much of the past decade or so. But this week, while out promoting the latter film, he tells People magazine he's not in the running. saying, "My name's not getting thrown out. No way. They're going younger, and I wish them all the luck in the world. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. I'm honestly not in the race ever. I wasn't in the race in the first place." Now, casting director Nina Gold is working with director Denis Villeneuve and producers Amy Pascal and David Heyman on the search for who will play James Bond next. And whoever they cast must ooze sex appeal. And they said that they're planning on doing 3 movies, at least 3 movies, and starring it. But there have been quite a few names that have been floating around in this whole James Bond space over the past couple of years. And I had to write them down before I forget because it was like Jacob Elordi, Colin Turner, Tom Holland, Harris Dickinson, Regé Jean Page, Theo James, Aaron Pierre, and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I've heard a lot of that name floating around. I think he'd be a great addition. He's a little rough around the edges, which is kind of like what you got from Daniel Craig. I've heard Colin Turner. People were like, he's not. I've heard people say he's not fuckable. That's the word. Really? Tell that to Dula Peep, because Dula Peep is currently fucking Colin Turner. So if you can get the likes of a Dula Peep who looks like a Bond girl to date you, he's quite fuckable, last I checked. So when you straight people run around making these accusations on your YouTube channels or whatever the case is, at least do your homework, know the behind the scenes stuff to even know what you're talking about before y'all come to that conclusion. Maybe he's not fuckable to you because you're a man and you don't want to sleep with men, but it's not just women that are going to be up in here oogling at them. And some people even said that they didn't think that Daniel Craig had sex appeal. I was like, what the fuck you was looking at? Because Daniel Craig definitely oozes sex appeal. He also looked like he'll beat your ass if you gave him the craziest look. So you kind of want that. It's like the sex appeal, the sense of danger, all of that stuff, and then those moments where he could be vulnerable, which he was with Vespa. So, in that sequence, so love to have seen Idris play Bond maybe 15 years ago, but he's too old. He's 53 years old. So if you're gonna, you know how long it takes to shoot it, like they have to cast it this summer. They're probably not gonna go ahead and start filming until 2027. The movie will be out in 2028 because Denis right now has to finish up on Doom Messiah, well, Doom 3. He has to, do all the bells and whistles, the post-production, the effects, the music, all of that stuff. Promote that movie. That movie comes out in December. Top of maybe January, maybe February, or maybe you could push to March. I can start filming mid-March or just the middle, like mid 2027. Spend maybe 6 months to a year, I guess. Who knows how long they're going to shoot this movie? Have it done and ready by 2028. He'll already be way past in his mid 50s at that point. So it takes like 2 to 3 years to put these movies out. And who knows how long they're going to be taking in between films to get it up and running with the next story and the filming and the prepping and all that stuff. So you want a 60-year-old Idris Elba running around here in the course of 3 movies? That's too little too late with that. If y'all would have did him 15 years ago, back when he was doing Luther, or as we like to say sometimes, Lufa, or back when he did that Hobbs and Shaw movie where he played a really good super spy villain up in there, then I think it would have worked at that time. But at this point, he's way too old. And I would have, and that's why I was like, y'all waited too late. Another person, speaking of aged out, Henry Cavill. Henry's in his, I believe he's what, 42? He's a little too old. Yes, he's about to play Duncan MacLeod in Chad Stahelski's Highlander movie. But I think that I want to see him in that versus him playing this, spy. And we got a bit of Henry playing a spy in Mission Impossible. Which one? Rogue Nation? If I'm not mistaken, I forget which one. It might have been Rogue Nation. But he's already played in a super like in a whole spy situation. He played the villain. So I like the idea. We've seen him in different masses of playing that part, and then on top, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because Bond is a brand within itself. But he already had a movie that just came out. None of y'all went to go see it. That new Guy Ritchie movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. So there's that. And another person I thought, if he doesn't get if he doesn't get hired to play young T'Challa, like T'Challa Jr. in Black Panther, since I know some people gonna have a problem with a black man playing it, but whatever. First of all, Ian Fleming's novels is outdated. You can go wherever you want to go with this damn franchise at this point. Because those books came out in the 60s and we're in 2026. So the books are outdated. You can't look back to those books. You got to kind of bring it into current times of where espionage and the world of spies and cameras and all of stuff, like where does all of that fit in today's market? But if you want to go younger and you want to have a black actor play James Bond, if that's the direction you want to go, which I don't think they will, I say go for the other Idris, and that'd be Damson Idris. Like I would like to see him as Bond. He's young, he's attractive, he has sex appeal, he's English, so I would like to see him in the role. But to be honest, I would rather see him as our new Black Panther. But in the hope of speaking of which, I hope they just figure out what the hell is going on with that whole situation soon, because it's been a minute since we've gotten ourselves a little Black Panther situation over here in this neck of the woods. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you bummed that you're not going to be able to see Idris Elba in a James Bond film? Because he says he was never in the race, and maybe he wasn't, or maybe there was some talks before and it just didn't work out because they still haven't even come up with a script or figure things out or whatever the case is. And this is, I'm talking about back in the day, or they decided to go in a different direction. Who knows? But he says he was never in the race. We just got to take his word for it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about Michael Jackson. So it's been confirmed by Lionsgate, even though everybody was running around and saying, "Oh, it's confirmed." Yeah, they said they making it. Blah 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 blah. I ain't hear no word about that. I'm like, unless the people in the industry say it's gonna happen, which I guess, if you really want to, be frank about it, it was a no-brainer that we were going to get a sequel. They're riding high of this movie. It's almost hitting at $1 billion. So, and it has a potential to cross over to that point. So this is a big hit for Lionsgate. So yeah, the Lionsgate film chief, they're saying that yeah, they definitely have a Michael Jackson movie that they're interested, well, a sequel. And who knows, maybe they could push it to a trilogy. Like the next chapter could be just about the 90s and everything he went through, and then you make a third film. I won't give you no ideas, but a third film you can get into the stuff where he got addicted to the prescription drugs, the propofol, and then he dies. So you can make it like a three-parter, stretch it out if y'all really want to go there. But we already know what this sequel is going to be. It's going to pretty much be a rehash of the first one, which is we'll give you a little bit of fluff, and in between we're going to spend half the movie just doing full-fledged music video reenactments of him performing on stage, music video shoots, that sort of thing. So I'm not expecting anything different. Y'all gonna go with the formula that works. And what's going on now with this movie, that formula they got going on, pretty much is working. So, Michael, the smash hit biopic, makes it clear that moviegoers haven't seen the last of Michael Jackson, but they did allude to that at the end, if you watch the film, with the film ending with the words, "His story continues." And Lionsgate, the studio behind the film, told investors and analysts on a quarterly earnings call on Thursday that it is hard. It is hard at work on a sequel. Well, also, let's not forget they already had 30% of footage already filmed. They could use that footage that they had filmed for other situations. Because remember, y'all heard that the movie was supposed by the time they were done with all the filming and everything, it was already a 4-hour movie, so they had to cut it down. So whatever the extra footage that they have that didn't make it into the film, they could use that for this movie, for the next one. So they said, we are really excited about the process we're making with respect to a second Michael film. This is what Adam Fogelson, the company film's chief, said. Now, all the conversations that we've been having with all the appropriate parties continue to go exceptionally well. The first Michael wraps up with the King of Pop in the middle of 1987's Bad Tour that leaves several decades of material, from successes such as Dangerous to controversies like the multiple allegations of child SA that dogged Jackson for the rest of his life. Now, do I think they're gonna go there with that? Only time will tell, but I don't know. I doubt it. And it's like, because look, they didn't have to address it in the last movie, and they're talking about the movie made almost $1 billion so far. Because I think they're at 700 million, if I can calculate off the top of my head. I can't remember the exact number now, but it's climbing. So I could definitely see them being like, you know what, let's stick to the formula that we have already. But at what point is everybody just going to sit there and be like, okay, we're just going to ignore the elephant in the room. We just want to celebrate the nostalgia aspect and just get into the music. So they said, I would say that there is a ton of incredibly entertaining Michael Jackson story and much of the biggest and most popular parts of his music catalog that were not touched upon in the first film. This is what Fogelson added. There are so many other events that happen, even in the time frame of the original movie, that weren't touched upon. So we're very, very confident that we've got an incredibly entertaining movie that will appeal once again to a global audience as the pieces come together. He also noted that things might not be chronological. He says we can go forward and backwards in telling this story. Well, I do think it'd be interesting if they kind of tell it, like try to switch it up in so many ways. Like you can kind of flip around in the different time periods or whatever the case is. If y'all want to kind of take a different approach with the second movie to keep people on their toes, I'd say go there or try it out, experiment. So they said Michael may be a massive box office hit, excuse me, but its production was chaotic. The film was supposed to explore the impact of the M word allegations in Jackson's life, with much of the third act devoted to the scandal, but those plans had to be scrapped along with any mention of the accusations, after the attorneys for the Jackson estate, which served as a producer, realized there was a clause in a settlement with one of the singer's accusers, Jordan Chandler, that barred the depiction or mention of him in any movie. It's unclear how any follow up film would deal with that period of Jackson's life without running afoul of the terms of that settlement. However, Fogelson says some of the material that was cut could be used in the sequel, which would potentially lower costs on the film. Well, here's the thing. Well, yeah, there's that. You can use that footage and work with what you got with that and create around, work your script around that. But it also makes me wonder too. There were other people that accused Michael of SA, their children. Is there a similar clause on them, or was it just with Jordy Chandler's family that you couldn't bring it up? So if they're trying to go there with the whole accusations, maybe find one of the family members that is being that accused them. You could do that story. I just hope what it does is that when y'all do tackle that part of the situation, that it doesn't end up with a situation of Michael Jackson fans bullying these family members, because whatever the situation was or what it was, and yes, he was acquitted and all this other mess, but we can't tell a story about a celebrity and it be a biopic and not address all of the things that they went through, unless you're particularly just making this movie as a celebration of the artist. And if that's what you're going to do, then okay, just stick with that. Then we want to stick with the music and the business side of things and the behind the scenes of what goes on in the industry with that. And if people want to get the SA trial allegation or whatever, then you just wait till next month when Netflix drops their little documentary on Michael Jackson and that whole 2000, what was it, 2005? That whole trial situation. So they said that we think we got 25 to 30% of a second movie already shot from the prior production activity, and so obviously that will have some financial benefit. But we're going to make sure we make a big and satisfying movie for a global audience once again. Now, Michael carried a production budget of more than 155 million. It has grossed more than, okay, so I was correct, 700 million at the box office, making it one of the biggest hits of 2026. Now, Jackson reached a 20 million settlement in 1994 with the family of Jordy Chandler, whose father accused Jackson of M-wording his son. Now, under the terms of the deal, Chandler cannot be portrayed or even mentioned in the movie. And that's why I said, damn, I know the actor that played Jordy Chandler was tight. Because I was like, I'm about to be a part of one of the biggest movies in Hollywood. I was going to have my moment. And here they go. They had to chop me from the damn situation. I kind of wonder if the Jackson estate actually knew about the clause and played this little thing. Oh, we didn't know. Had Lionsgate spent all that damn money and decide to come and be like, "Oop, there's a little clause situation that we may have missed," and now we'll come up with the money and put it into the film, which they actually ended up doing. I think they put in like $50 million, whatever, that and kind of do that as a little stunt, so that way, with them having more of a bigger say as producers on this film. So I always think about possible plotations that goes on when it comes to business, because people play ugly when it comes to the business situation. So it's like, yeah, we put a little our own money into it. We betted on it or whatever the situation is. So now it's like, okay, we'll see how so I'm side on y'all, Jackson Estate. So now, of course, then they also mentioned several other accusers have come forward, including Gavin Arvizo, who claims were the focus of the court case that culminated in Jackson's 2005 acquittal. And yeah, that's the story that they're going to be doing in the big old documentary or docuseries, because Netflix loves a three-parter. They just released the Kylie Minogue one, which was actually pretty good, by the way. I finally got around to watching it over the weekend. And with the whole 2005 trial, that's the one that they're covering. So I kind of wonder if they're covering that in the whole Netflix situation, if in cinematic form, can they use that trial in the movie? Because if they're covering it over there and not get in trouble, then maybe the movie can get around it and tell the side of the story with that. But tell it in a more neutral type situation, meaning let's not be like, well, it's Michael and we're going to play a bias, because if it kind of goes into that point, it's a slippery slope and you don't want to start off no new lawsuits. So you got to be careful with how y'all tell that narrative. Tell it from the point of view of like a real court case. And to try to, I guess, be neutral around it. Don't start taking sides. Leave it up to the people to decide based off the evidence that y'all write in scripted form. So, and then of course, we got to bring up Wade Robson, who you see in the picture on the right, sitting next with Michael Jackson, and James Safechuck were the accusers profiled in Leaving Neverland, which has since been quietly redrawn from HBO Max. Now, the documentary's removal was due to a settlement with the Jackson estate, which had sued HBO on the grounds that the two-part film violated the non-disparagement clause of a 1992 contract for a Michael Jackson concert special on the network. So look, shit's getting messy. And we'll see how this all plays out as we get close to them starting to make the official announcement that they're going to begin production on this film. Quiet as it's kept. We'll see if Antoine Fuqua wants to come back and make another Michael movie. I don't necessarily know if he's willing to do it, apparently, especially with all the rumors that were circulating around it being a nightmare dealing with a lot of the estate and their demands and people coming in trying to have a say so on the film and all the drama that transpired with that. And where they actually called him Vantuan Fuqua because he would hide in a van shooting the movie, saying that, oh, that's what I was doing during the pandemic. Well, sir, the pandemic's been over for over what, 6 years? So what are you talking about, Willis? So for you to sit up there and use that whole situation as an excuse, like, no, you was using that because you didn't want to deal with them damn Jacksons and all them trying to have a say so. But anyway, I guess that's what you get when you got to deal with estates and celebrity biopics and all that mess. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you really think that they're going to go in and let Have really give us the true tea, or do y'all want the same old regarding, oh, we're going to play it safe. We're just going to have Michael come across as like he's Mary Poppins, perfect in every way. He has no flaws. We don't get to really know like what he was dealing with, his insecurities, a lot of the stuff that he was going on in the business, people taking advantage of him, his losing a lot of money, and all the drama that goes with trying to get to know a multi-layered human being. Or do you and then just try to gloss over the weakness of the script by just, let me just throw in this live concert performance here, this music video there, and not really address all the things that need to be addressed with a well-written script. So we'll see how that all turns out when it happens. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, all right, all right, all right. He said, as long as it's not Tom Holland. I saw this video on YouTube where they was talking about like they was talking about some type of curse. And I don't know if they were saying it was that the curse was Tom Holland being 30 and still looking like he's 12, where people can't take him seriously and things. Because it's like, yeah, I'll talk about James Bond and all these other things. It's like he looks like a kid. And looking youthful is a blessing and a curse in Hollywood because the perception of how you still look like a kid when you probably like 45 and you still could play like a 22-year-old, that's definitely a cool thing. But then when there's other parts you want to go for, like I want to be gritty and I want to do this, that, and the other, that kind of can go against you. It's kind of like when I saw it when they put him as Nathan Drake. I'm like, who decided on making him Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie? He looks like Tom Holland dressed up doing Indiana Jones cosplay. It was like, no, it's not working. We need somebody who's a little rough around the edges. I mean, maybe if it was made a long time ago and he was younger, everybody wanted Nathan Fillion, but he was too old at that point. Mark Wahlberg should not have been Sully. First of all, Mark Wahlberg can't act his way out of a goddamn paper bag, but y'all still keep giving him parts. Um, it should have been Stephen Lang because Stephen Lang kind of looked like Sully in that way. That's who I wanted. Y'all be out here trying to act like older men can't do action. Have you not seen this new season of The Citadel? Stanley Tucci was kicking ass and taking names up in that show. So if you haven't seen that season 2, you need to see it. And I love the fact when they put older people in situations where it's like, yeah, I've been doing this a long time. I've been in the game for a minute. And if I need to fuck some shit up, I'm going to do it. So I like the fact that they give older people their due. And he was definitely up in there beating their ass. He said, I wonder if they will show MJ's doctor going to court. Yeah, who's going to play Conrad Murray? That'd be an interesting one. No way can the second Michael film be like the first, especially with how dark his life is. Exactly. That's what I said. We gotta tap into that side. We gotta go there. We gotta get dark. If y'all want to do this glossy Disney-fied version a second time, the movie's gonna lose money. Because it's cute in the beginning where y'all can go along with the Disney-fied version of everything. But you can't keep trying to. It's like what Judge Judy always said, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. Because I'm not gonna keep coming back. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, you a dumbass bitch. The thing is, they don't have to touch the allegations because Michael was depressed, and then you have to add in his Debbie and Lisa Presley entanglement, and but they aren't going to do all that. Say who? Debbie Rowe. Yeah, who gonna play Debbie Rowe? Melissa McCarthy. That's what they could get to play Debbie Rowe. Not talking about his essay allegations is like making a biopic of Brit. Hello, or not even, and no, or maybe you should say a biopic of Britney Spears and not addressing her mental health and a conservatorship. So we just gonna see her doing "Oops, I Did It Again" and the movie's over? Like, no, you got to address all of it. That's in the book. He said, obviously, those two are very different, but it brings depth to the hardships of fame. And talking about the pressures and hardships of fame and mental illness and all the things that come with it, the pressures of being in Hollywood and being one of the biggest pop stars of the planet, and people who are on the label trying to tell you what to do with all of that. Like, one of the people that gave it to us perfectly, if you watch the Kylie documentary, where she went along with everything happened so fast because she was one of the biggest soap stars in Australia on that show Neighbours, and how she went from that to recording with Stock Aiken and Waterman, who, as they say, are not her lawyers. I did find that funny when they said that line, and her just sing this song, fly back to Australia, film Neighbours, go do this, go travel to Japan, go travel to the UK, go travel to this place, go travel to, and she's doing all of this and doing what she's told. And it took her getting in a relationship with Michael Hutchence for her to get into, may he rest in peace, for her to finally take her career by the reins and be like, I don't want to be told what to do anymore. I want to actually have an opinion. And then that's when she went over there to Parlophone and started doing Impossible Princess, which we already know what happened with that. And then the whole situation. But at least she stepped outside her comfort zone, was like, I'm not the singing budgie that y'all keep calling me. I'm actually someone who has an opinion and is not a puppet. And I feel like Britney Spears went through the same thing, where it's like y'all wanted her to just be this thing, and she was at certain points was like, I want to take my career into my own hands and I want to do certain things. And a lot of the A-list celebrities, big stars, go through this, where it's like, yeah, you get a crash course and just I'm gonna do what I'm told for as long as I do it. And then one day you're like, you know what, okay, I got it. I'm successful. I'm doing, but now I want to have an opinion. I want to try things. And the people behind the scenes get mad because then they're like, well, you ain't have opinion before. Well, I wasn't allowed to have an opinion before. I didn't know who I was back then. I was just going along with, I was just riding the wave. I was just going through what I needed to go through. Now that I understand how the machine works, because I'm a cog in it, now it's like I can use all that to my advantage. I'm successful, I'm all this, but now it's like we got to transition. We got to come up with new things. I can't sit up in here singing these je ne sais pas pourquoi songs. I mean, je ne sais quoi pourquoi songs. I almost said it wrong. We got to go, and I'm hanging out at the gay clubs. My music's got to get a little more dancey. Man's Kylie. Remember her? So now she got to do that because now she's appealing to the gays. The drag queens are doing Kylie nights at the clubs. So now I got to appeal to that audience. Even though I don't think she was just pandering for the sake of pandering, but it's her showing like her gratitude and her love for the gay audience. To do MJ, they need like 7 movies. Well, I did say that in the same thing with Madonna, that we need it needs to be a series. Like if you really want to go there and really dive deep and do all, the musical numbers, the personal life stuff, it's got to be a series. When you deal with these icons who have had careers for like 4 or 5 decades and more, you need a series. Same thing of Cher. If they decide to do a Cher biopic based off of her half a book, or you did say you were going to drop another one, they'd have to do a series on that. Because you can't judge somebody's life in 2 hours. And that's what it felt like with the first movie. It felt like just a montage of things that we were going through the motions, and they didn't settle in the pocket of those things that would happen. Oh, they would show a montage of him in the studio. Let's show a montage of him at Studio 54. Let's show a montage. Like it was just montages. I was like, okay, whatever. The music is saving this movie, but the script was a chop. Now, what more can be said that hasn't already been said? I'm not wasting money. Okay, and it said I'm gonna be 30 next month, and I still get offered kid menus. Not kid menus. um, he said more people believe the accusations, despite the not guilty verdict. It seems the younger generation believes it, and the older generations don't. But it's definitely only white people believe he did it. Well, it's the same thing like with OJ. I mean, years later, black folks was like, yeah, he did it. But at the time, because of what was going on with the Rodney King riots and all that, and Rodney King and the riots over in LA, what was it, South Central, when it was dealing with all of that stuff, and racists getting away with murder, literally or figuratively. But I'm not just talking about the Rodney King thing, because he didn't die, but there were police brutality happening to black people, and they were getting killed. So with all that stuff that was happening around the time, people was happy when a black man finally got away with murder. I'm not saying it was right, but it was just at the time it was justice for people of color, because they weren't getting the justice that they wanted to be getting in the 90s. So I know it was a crazy mind twist situation, but that's what it was. The mean streets of the mean streets of Chelsea are a buzzing. You better hurry up with the podcast and hit the dirty ass to play Starbucks with some child. First of all, I do not do Starbucks. Not rest in hell. Who's that? Conrad Murray won't be what? Oh, won't be on T. What's that? Mark Wahlberg is a horrible actor. He has no acting skills. And they keep you said won't be in the film because he's already found as a murderer of Michael Jackson, guilty of homicide. Well, they could put it up in the end credits. Did you see Alaska and Aquaria recreate the Madonna and Addison encounter? I did, and that was funny. You said Madonna biopic will have to cover her relationship with Sean Penn, Lorda's dad, and that British dude. No, you mean Guy Ritchie. Guy Pearce is I do like Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce was in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Speaking of Guy Pearce, he was also on Neighbors with Kylie Minogue. They show him in a clip when they're talking about the whole neighbor situation. Sidebar, also, I had no idea with the whole Kylie biopic, I mean the Kylie documentary. I had no idea that Danny was the biggest star. She was like the big child actress. She was singing. They said she did like the Australian version of the Mickey Mouse Club. So I had no idea she had the bigger career at that point, and Kylie was more the actress. And then it kind of just flipped where you kind of see now that yeah, Kylie is clearly the bigger artist in regards of like the music industry. She is the bigger pop star. I hear a muffled scream. Do you still have what? Okay. Would you please stop with the dumb, stupid comments? Because what are you even talking about? And you said Madonna debut having her involved with business and A&R is so involved. I wish that we would celebrate. Oh, sorry. I wish we would create our own big budget spy franchise instead of look. I've been saying that for the longest. That what we need is instead of because I was thinking that too, was like, and why I always want to be like, we need a black this, so we need a black that. No, we need our own IPs that have black people starring in it. How about we have somebody write a script where we have a black spy and put it out there, or the first gay spy, or whatever the case is. Write the script, get the money together, have the budget, and do what you need to do. I don't understand why people will be like, well, we need the first gay this. Because I be seeing it all the time on the gay blogs too. Well, will we ever see a gay James Bond? Why do we always have to try to pander to that appeal of, well, we need straight people to see us as we just like y'all. They ain't trying to watch y'all fucking a dude on camera. So we can have our own little gay spy movie and you can be hunting as many men, or if you bisexual, because quiet as it's kept, I do feel like why have we never had that side explored? Yeah, it was teased from Daniel Craig and Silva, played by Javier Bardem, where it was sort of like this whole flirting thing that was going on in the movie. And I do believe that as a spy, sometimes you got to deal with gay dictators and or tech oligarchs, whatever the case is. And if you got to go sleep with somebody or do whatever you got to do to get the job done, male, female, or whatever, why haven't we incorporated that into these stories? But because of society and everything, nobody's going to touch that. I mean, you probably have a better chance of touching that sort of thing in a TV show, but not a movie. Too many people want Oscars, including Madonna, but people think Madonna could have her own 5 or 7 season type of crown. Yeah, it's like fuck an Oscar. My thing is like what are you having an Oscar? What is that gonna I mean, yeah, it's a notch in your belt. You could probably say, um, well, I don't know if she's of EGOT status because I don't think Madonna has a Tony. I don't think she has an Emmy. She does have a critics but no People's Choice Award. Cause didn't she win that and then Elton John got pissed? So awards don't mean shit. Like your legacy is what it is. So it shouldn't be, oh yeah, I just wanted to go in the movie so I could win an Oscar. There's no guarantee that you're even going to get that. I mean, you could do it. You could probably get an Oscar through music if you release a song for a soundtrack or whatever. But these award shows, they don't hold much weight. The cop that died is why OJ got away with it. He's why OJ got Mark Furman. Yeah, we know. With him being racist, that helped. And plus the whole if the glove don't fit, you must have quit, even though it's like if it's soaked in blood or whatever the case is, the glove is gonna get all, your hand ain't gonna be able to get in it because it's all wet and messed up. So I'm gonna fit my hand. Like it can't be me. My hand's too big. Oscars are overrated. Your legacy with your fan base is worth more. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a Golden Globe. Oh yeah, duh, because it had like the little thing and the globe on top. It's like, yeah, that's what it was. I don't know. I get them People's Choice, Globe and Go. They're all the same damn shows to me. The imposing upon a franchise sounds like the modern day negative evolution of colonizing and cultural appropriation. In the end, it's all creative laziness. Yeah, it took me a minute for that to register, but yeah, I see where you're coming from with that. It's like, yeah, the whole idea of, oh yeah, well, this franchise already is what it is. The foundation is set for what it's supposed to be. I mean, you can change it in other ways and modernize it as we progress in the times if you want to keep that franchise going. Yes, Bond has to be English, or maybe he could be Irish, or maybe even Australian, because the rumor is people really trying to push for Jacob Elordi. And right after, since the hero already dead on Euphoria, he's free. So put him in that franchise. I don't know if he'll want to do it though. But it's like, no, we don't need a gay version of a gay Bond or whatever they call Black Bond. You could do that in your own little franchise with your whole another character and inspired by. Kind of like how you had Indiana Jones. Of Indiana Jones, you birthed Uncharted. So many people are inspired by things but create their own thing. He does not give me Bond either. I just think because he's tall and he's popular, that's what they're going with. But if you're doing all this because he's got a huge fan base of people who love him on TikTok or whatever the case is, that's not a reason. And he is a good actor, but no, I don't want to see him playing James Bond. You said, but she isn't taken to, huh? I won't need you to finish that sentence. But in the meantime, let's get back into the show and I'll come back to that once. But anyway, let's get into the team. And let's talk about Britney. So Britney, her DUI video was released. We're not gonna play it up here. Now I'll play Justin because Justin's a piece of shit. But Britney, I'm gonna spare you on this one. But we got to get into this tea because you said that your mother went unalived a bicyclist in 1975 and claimed that her mother also tried to take her life. So she said all of this. I do find it funny. They said a man. She unalived a man. A 12-year-old is not a man. So I don't know where y'all getting that from. Like, y'all do know that is a boy, that is a kid. That's not a man. Think I need to learn the difference. Or maybe Brittany, or I don't know if it was Brittany that said it or it was the article, but it's like, come on, y'all know better when y'all be writing this stuff. So anyway, so police footage taken during Britney Spears' March DUI arrest showed the Princess of Pop claiming two officers that her mother, Lynne Spears, once unalived the man without facing consequences. When one of the cops informed Britney that it is extremely dangerous to drive under the influence of alcohol and drugs or both, the toxic hitmaker, who was 44, responded, "Yes, sir, I know. My mother actually killed a man." Well, I'm supposed to say the K word. Unalived the man on a bike, but I never did that before. Bitch, what that got to do with you driving under the influence? But I guess she tried to say that because my mother hit somebody with her car while it was raining. That's completely different than me driving erratic on the road. No, erratic is erratic. You should not be driving, period. You should not be getting behind no wheel, period, if your mind is in a different state. If you got any kind of situation, I don't know is whether it's prescription drugs or street drugs or anything of any kind, if you got any kind of issues that you can't be 110% behind the wheel, your ass should not be behind the wheel. I also don't get people that sit and text and drive. Your messages can wait until you get the fuck home or pull over on the side of the road. But there's too many irresponsible ass people that like get behind the wheel and driving and don't take into consideration that you got this big thing that you're sitting in. And if you go off and hit somebody, there's consequences that come with that. So Brittany went on to allege that her mother also tried to unalive the pop star before starting a tense back and forth with cops after they told her she was being arrested. The story is a true tale, apparently, in her 2008 memoir, though Through the Storm, Lynne explained that she killed. Second time I ain't gonna be able to monetize this damn video. A 12-year-old boy named Anthony Winters in 1975 while in a hurry to rush her brother to a Kentwood, Louisiana hospital. They said the roads were thick with rain, and as I was rounding the curve, an oncoming car was coming in the left lane. The book continues, in a split second, I could see two young boys riding their bikes on the road. Why? I was going to say, why y'all riding y'all bikes in the rain? But whatever. And I guess the same reason why in Kentwood, y'all be driving with them kids on your lap. Probably that, like real hillbilly shit. So they said, I could see two young boys riding their bikes on the road. In that flash of time, I had a sick sensation that I would hit one of them, that it would be impossible not to, as I knew my car would not stop, no matter how hard I slammed on the brakes. One boy managed to get his bike out of the way, but his friend, a 12-year-old boy whose house was right by the scene of the incident, was hit. Now, Lynne, who's now 71, was not charged for the incident. Now, as Page Six reported on Thursday, additional footage taken at the scene showed Britney failing a field sobriety test and telling the officers she had one mimosa earlier in the day while boasting of her tolerance. Well, clearly your tolerance is null and void, because if you got behind the wheel and you had a mimosa, and yeah, mimosas, here's the thing. I'm gonna drink hard liquor and it just be like going right through me or whatever the case is. But a mimosa, oh, I get shit faced. I can have one mimosa and I'll be lit. I don't know why that happens, but it's, I guess, maybe because it's wine or whatever the case is. And also wine makes me sleepy. So that's why I don't really like drinking it. Wine and beer makes me sleepy. Maybe that comes with getting older. But um you can't say you got a high tolerance, but they were saying like, but then they had to pull you over because you swerving all over the damn place. So a lot of people, a lot of people run around saying they don't have a problem, or they drink a lot, or they have a high tolerance, don't really have as much of a high tolerance as they claim. So, and she also said, I could probably drink 4 bottles of wine and take care of you. I'm an angel. Britney's arrest report showed Britney also claimed that she had taken several prescription drugs, including the mood stabilizer Lamictal and anticonvulsant, antidepressant, Prozac, and Adderall. So she had Lamictal, Prozac, and Adderall in her system, along with drinking a mimosa. And you shouldn't be mixing alcohol and prescription drugs, which that has been a tale as old as time. They tell y'all not to be mixing. But Brittany know everything. But leave Brittany alone, right? Especially when she driving behind a wheel, where she could put lives in danger and end up doing the same damn thing that her mother did back in 1975. Only difference is Lynne was trying to get her brother to the damn hospital and was driving and speeding in the rain, which is dangerous. But Brittany, you just driving around the street with prescription drugs and alcohol in your system. But that's okay. Y'all both was in the wrong. Well, you should have been. Well, Lynne, I guess she kind of like, it makes sense. Like if it was trying to help somebody who was in danger, trying to get them to the hospital because she don't want them to die, that's different than you getting behind the wheel and drinking and doing drugs. But Brittany seemed like the person, I want to do whatever I want. You can't tell me shit. It's giving privilege. Tease. And with you being all erratic with these cops, it's still sounding like you giving privilege. It's just like, girl, shut STFU and just listen to them popo and let them do what they gotta do. And that's probably why they put your ass in handcuffs and took you down to the precinct. Now, they said police caught up with Britney after several drivers reported the toxic singer was 44 to police when they saw her allegedly driving erratically and almost side-swiping several vehicles while in Ventura County, according to 911 audio exclusively obtained by Page Six. And reporting the erratic driving person, I'm reporting an erratic driving person. This is what one person said in 911 call. The individual told the dispatch responder the location and told them how a BMW was allegedly moving in and out of lanes and slamming on the brakes. After the arrest, Spears checked herself into rehab in April. She was released later that month and was said to be doing well. Although we did hear that recent story that she went to a little restaurant and was barking and walking around with a butter knife, forgot to put it down, kept going back and forth to the bathroom. They said that her booth looked like a pigsty, had food all over the floor, like literally was feeding the floor more than your damn mouth. She was picking at fries, talking about how she loved the man that she was there with, although some people think it was her assistant and a bodyguard who she was hanging out with or whatever at that situation. Jeff Snyder, who does the In Snyder, happened to be there and told exactly word for word what happened. He also blamed the media because he was like, I was there and I was giving just like a regular attempt of what happened, and her fans was going in on him when you should have been going at the Page Sixes and all the other blogs that were going in sensationalizing the situation, like she was just running around like a psychopath, getting all over people's faces, like trying to cut people. She wasn't doing all that. They were trying to blow it up for dramatic effect. And he was just telling a regular story of like, yeah, I was there. I'm hearing the comments. Like she was literally this close to where they was in their whole establishment. So he heard everything that was going on. And Jeff don't usually, well, I won't say usually, he don't lie. He breaks a lot of celebrity, like movie scoops. But it just so happens that this was a golden ticket for him, because what were the odds of her walking in this small venue, restaurant, where the people that work there can't really speak on what was happening, but Jeff Snyder, who does reporting, entertain like independent reporter on what's going on in Hollywood, happened to be there, and now I think he was like having dinner with one of his sources, and happened to have a first-hand account and told what happened, and her fans getting mad. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Because if it was an opportunity for y'all, if y'all was in there, you seen her going crazy. Trust and believe, y'all would run up on TikTok and try to monetize y'all little story time of I encounter with Britney. So everybody up here trying to act like they so damn innocent. In the words of Britney Spears, you're not that innocent. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding and the fact that all the details, but she basically tried to throw her own mother under the bus to justify her side swiping cars, putting on her brakes, and putting a lot of lives on the road in danger. Like cars are not, it's not some little toy that you can play with. It's a dangerous thing. People can die. People have died from crazy ass car accidents. And you driving, and this is how you drive behind the wheel. Not even Jesus can take that wheel and save your ass. You don't need to be behind the wheel. Just get you a driver. You got enough money. You sold your entire musical catalog. Just hire somebody to drive you around for the rest of your life. Because clearly you don't know how to get behind a damn vehicle and be a responsible human being like every damn body else. So I definitely want to hear from you all. Let me know what your overall thoughts on this story in the comments down below. All right. Hold on, because I was like, where is your scooter? I was like, I had to find that other story with the K Michelle thing before we get to the rest of the topics. Let's see what the people are saying. Jacob is in trouble, especially with how he ran off with Is he? Because I was like, yeah, you running behind Kendall Jenner. That girl, like all them damn Kardashians, is gonna ruin your career. You keep it up. I watched bits of the dash cam footage, and Brittany said, "Man, not sure what I missed that led people to believe it was a 12-year-old." That's what I said. It was like, if it's a man, I guess what the reports were is that they were resorting to a story because of Brittany saying, "My mother hit a man." The story is, I guess it was in, because remember, Lynne put out a memoir too, I think before Brittany. And in the book, she reveals that she did kill somebody's kid. So I guess that's what they're alluding to. But Brittany running around here saying, man, it's like, sis, I think you need to get it together. A 12-year-old is not a man, it's a child. So if you saying it was a man, you got your stories all mixed up because your mother actually hit a kid. I love how, that's why I was like confused when they said it in the headline that I'm reading the article. I'm like, huh? I love how Brittany tried to charm her way out of get a place. She pulled the Karen. She was like doing your typical white woman. I'm gonna charm my way out of getting this whole situation. I'm gonna make you lasagna, and it's like, okay. Apparently that ain't work. It's like, you might spring some Adderall up in damn lasagna. I ain't eating that shit. Child of hope, because I don't, no shade. I don't just be eating anybody cooking. Child of whole footage irritated the police. Men were being too patient. Like, girl, get your ass. He said, then she tried to use her children as an excuse for the cops to let her go. Babes, those are grown men waiting at home for you. That's what I'm saying. You said it's about your children, and then you getting the man that your mother unalived as an excuse when it was a kid. It's like she can't tell the difference between kids and grown because the kids are grown, while that person, her mother unalived, was a kid. If she does this again, she going to jail. Of course she is. She needs because with all the with the pro, what is it? The probation, the big sentence they gave her. Like she got to stay clean, I believe, for a while. I can't remember the exact number, but she can't fuck up for a while. She needs to get her crap together. She was only in rehab for 2 weeks. That's not enough. No, it's not. And I think you did that so that way you can get a lighter sentence. Girl thought she was on not GTA, because the way she was driving was giving blackout. Yeah, the freeway, that's even more dangerous. I don't like being on a freeway at times because people be driving crazy. And it's like, you're not going to tailgate me because now I'm going to run your ass off the road. Because I'm like my grandfather. I definitely do be having road rage when some of these people be trying me. Yes, and she was on a, oh yeah. You know how much I love Britney, and it pained me to watch the footage, but even I can admit Britney's not okay. Benefits from celeb privilege and the lack of a better word. She's slow and she's slow. But you want to know something? This is why I love when people can actually be diplomatic when it comes to stuff. You can have a favorite artist, and it's okay to call them out when they're wrong. I do it all the time, and I hope that we have people that could be sensible enough to do that. I don't understand why y'all think, oh, if I actually call out my fave and they dead ass wrong, instead of this leave Britney alone excuse. First of all, we don't like Cara anymore, so fuck her. But I don't understand why people continue to do this and think that, but if we do this, we're helping her. No, you're enabling her. You're enabling her behavior. Oh, I agree with this too. I do feel like her fan base vilified the system. No, it makes you look at it as like, you know what? I don't like how she was treated in the conservatorship, but the conservatorship was definitely necessary because we don't know the true whatever happened behind the scenes. We only got surface reports on it. We only got what people are telling us. But whatever mindset Brittany was in, we don't know how bad it was. But I do feel like the way the system took advantage and treated her and the things they did to her was inhumane. But sometimes I just feel like if you're going to do a conservatorship, it needs to be done in a way where you're not going to be out here putting harm to the actual person, prevent them from causing harm on themselves. Yes, I love Britney, and I think what she did was absolutely irresponsible and foolish. On a shady, funny note, the not this queen, the Singaporean made a video about 7 levels. He's still doing that shit of lead singles and named "Not Myself Tonight" by X Tina as a level one. Girl, shut up. But I'm sure anything Taylor Swift does is just gold. Wait, is one bad or is 10 bad? What is the level of the numbers? Because how did Not Myself Tonight kill her career? I like the video. And I like the song too. It was, there was elements of Madonna in there, the Express Yourself video. I also liked a lot of the fetish fashions that were used in the commercial, in the music video. I liked a lot of that video, and I liked how when Xtina went electronic with Bionic. Britney needs to be locked up, and it's clear her circle doesn't care about her because why are you driving? Absolutely, and they're enabling her, and they make money off her. Yeah, Wendy's conservatorship. I don't think that we did talk about that not too long ago. She ain't getting out of that, especially drugged on '90s Wendy Houston level. Why Britney doesn't have a driver? Yeah, that's what I said. If child, don't even get me started on Whitney and the drugs. Too much hate for Bionic when it released. I didn't care. I bought the CD the day. I had a CD too. I gotta look for it. But I do remember buying that. I also realized, oh yeah, oh you said, okay, so I was right because I was like, is one the lowest? I wasn't sure. 7 is the highest. He mentioned Gaga a lot while he was talking about it. Oh, we know the history of the Gaga fame recording and Christina. They were both recording in the same building. They were recording their albums around the same time. But And people were sitting there saying that Christina was copying off of Lady Gaga. I don't know if I agree with that because Lady Gaga was doing her thing with Red One, whatever the case is. When you look at whose Christina's influences were on Bionic, it's like I'm trying to literally remember them. She was influenced by Goldfrapp. She was influenced by MIA and Santi Gold and Latigra. Like she was inspired by a lot of the electro clash artists of that time. So when y'all sit up there and try to compare what she was doing to the fame, I feel like it's unfair. And people only use that lazy comparison because both of those albums came out at the same time. Yeah, I do agree with that. It was Peaches was another influence as well. So she was using a lot of the electro clash girls, a lot of that underground music, which is making a comeback that I'm happy about. Bionic is all right. It's art pop before art. He said, but I love that y'all love Bionic. I love that album. There's too many songs on it. That's the only issue that I have with it. It's like it's kind of like Rebel Heart. I get where you were going, but it's too many damn songs. What's the other song? Monday Morning. I love that song too. That's like a song I always have on repeat from the Bionic era. I love Bionic too. I just love to give Britney understudy. Not the Britney understudy shade, but it's just jokes. Bobblehead too. I do love Bobblehead. Birds of Prey. Oh yeah, I think we're like Birds of Prey has more of like a Ladytron vibe when I listen to that song. Birds of Prey is one of the best pop songs ever, and it's a deluxe track on the album. That's why she killed her own career. Well, yeah, I don't know if it was her or if it was that label, but yeah, they should have put that on the album. Christina always adds too many tracks. Yeah, well, yeah, this time when y'all be over bloating that shit. Her, Chris Brown, and now Drake, they all be just over bloating their records. It's like, why? Y'all don't need to be doing all that. But anyway. We'll get back to the comments after. Oh yeah, Perez Hilton, Lady Gaga is why, but oh yeah, because he was definitely being a messy cheerleader for Gaga at the time, which I know he has mentioned since then. He was talking about, and I guess he was trying to allude to how Gaga was a no angel because there was a lot of her insecurities, and I feel like she was using a lot of the bloggers. And to me, Gaga definitely gives like I'm a latch on to whoever is popular at the point so that way I can kind of control them. And Perez being in that mix of, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. That bit of clout definitely helped in a lot of ways. It helped with him and his blog, whatever. But I also feel like he was kind of helping Gaga take down some of her contemporaries. And that doesn't excuse the fact that, yeah, Epstein was running around being a damn nuisance in the industry. But at the same time, it's like, they was she ain't God ain't no angel either. Oh yeah, yes, there is a Kona called Deluxe. I haven't listened to it, but I added it to my um like it's added to my Apple Music. I was listening to Maya's album over the weekend. It's actually good, but it's not a good album to listen to when you're working out. It was given, yeah, it has like that Mars Day in the Time, like Minneapolis vibe to it. But I'm like, no, I need some EDM. So I had to put on J Hora. I think is how you pronounce her name. Because I had to listen to my DJ mixes because I need EDM, I need house music when I'm working out. I can't listen to some of that old groovy labor. That's like listening to Beyonce's Four and trying to exercise. Like that's not working. That is a chop. So um we'll get back to the comments after our next topic, which is K Michelle. So K Michelle been busy this weekend. I mean, in case y'all didn't know, she's currently on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know why, but I feel like this should be a one and done season for her. Now, as much as I like K Michelle, I like the idea that they're bringing some of them loving hip hop girls over to Bravo. Although Andy Cohen Todd ass was running around trying to thumb his nose at the Love and Hip Hops and the Basketball Wives and these other shows, trying to act like y'all was all demure and mindful and y'all not ghetto gutter trash on the housewives side, but they be giving that too. So just because you got a higher budget and a lot of these girls bring glam and they may act like they're a little more sophisticated, doesn't necessarily mean y'all over there in the housewives franchise ain't just as ratchet as the women over there on them other shows that pretty much have taken kind of copied the housewives formula that he basically started. So K. Michelle recently did an interview with Shannon Sharp. Yeah, I know Shay's still around. Uncle Shay's still around. And she basically did an interview with him and said that she wants to do a versus with the Muppet. And y'all know who the Muppet is. The Muppet is hold on, I gotta make sure that I pull wait. I gotta do it again because I gotta pull this clip up for y'all. Hold on. So yeah, she said she wanted to do a versus. He asked if she wanted to do one. She said, yeah, she wanted to do one with the Muppet. So shout out to Neighborhood Talk for this clip. We're gonna come back and talk. Please hold. Ooh.
Versus.
Who you gonna go up against?
Probably the Muppet. But I mean,
who the Muppet?
Be so much. I will not. I'm she's supposed to be so much better than me. She as an elitist and black person, she's so refined, but she's the one with teeth knocked out, sleeping with married men. Not me.
I don't know who you talking about.
Not me. But I'm low level, low class because of your family.
You don't want to tell me? Tell me in my ear.
No, I would never, because I think people understand. As far as that, I am over what they were saying in the last couple of years of like 10 million. And this person is about 2 million. And I put the 2 on the sister. And you steadily attacking me. So I've been quiet on your attacks. So now get up there. Do your verses, little lady. Go for a little Muppet. Let's rock.
Would you do verses?
Oh, I think I should do a verses.
And so I want to replay that little end clip because that was the audio and stuff was on mute. I hate when you refresh the Instagram, it does that. But anyway, K. Michelle, while any other time I agree with you in this whole situation, I'm gonna say this. Now, you know, they beef goes back over a decade. There was a situation where I guess she referred to Tamar as a Muppet. They did an episode of The Real when they were all the girls was on there, and I guess they were talking about bullying, whatever the case was. And Tamar admitted, they called me a Muppet. And you should have seen some of the girls up there trying to restrain themselves from cackling, especially Lonnie Love, who we come to find out that Lonnie and Tamar don't really like each other. So that's where that whole situation stemmed from. Over the years, K. Michelle been calling her Muppet and all that other stuff, and they've been trading little jabs back and forth on social media. So one of the things I think that, while I'm not mad at her for calling Tamar a Muppet when it's warranted in the past, I will say this. Kay, you wrong this time because Tamar ain't do nothing to you. Tamar, you know, with the pool of blood and the teeth situation and trying to throw Funky Dineva under the bus because she was allegedly out here hooking up with Yandy husband Mendices, who we come to find out they was never married, and that whole drama, and Funky went and started spilling all her tea on his show because she tried him. And she always say, you tried it. Well, you tried him, and the gays that you took that line from decided to try, and you tried it and you failed, and that he had to basically grab you by your wig, your perfectly glued down wig, and drag you across Atlanta with his reeds. So, K. Michelle, you was wrong with coming out and calling her as the Muppet. I understand you got your little issues with her, whatever the case was, but Tamar ain't starting no shit with you this time. So now if she come out and say something, don't come out here and try to play the victim in this whole matter. So we do have, hold on, let's see what the people are saying over there on the Neighborhood Talk. So one person said, I would never act like this if I knew my BBL was prone to leaking fluid. One person said, Tamar's catalog is better though. Another person said, unpopular opinion, Love and War album. Well, that is true. Love and War album has no skips. First of all, that was like one of Tamar's one good albums. She's released other stuff and it sounded like your basic ass R&B music, but Hot Sugar, all them other songs that was on there, okay. Tamar brought it with that debut, with her official. Well, she had a solo album in the past before people even knew who the fuck she was, but post Braxton Family Values, when she came out with that Love and War album, okay, that album slaps. So it's no shade on that. So then another person said, I've never seen Kay speak positively about any woman. Well, I don't know. Well, based off of some of the things I've heard, I'm going to take your word for it. So another person says she's so mean spirited. Bring the same energy on RHOA, not on Twitter in interviews. Yeah, because I'm not watching the Housewives of Atlanta. The only time I see clips is if my friend Joshua Martin posted on his Facebook, and I get, I'm scrolling through, Facebook, see what's the people talking about, what's the tea, all that mess, and I'll see little clips that he posted on his page. It'll end up in my feed, and I'll sit and I'll watch the clips that way, and those are entertaining clips. And it always seems like people say mess about not Tamar, about K Michelle, and K Michelle sit there with the subliminals. Oh, people talking mess about me, people plotting against me, ain't mentioning no damn names, and the girls is up there looking dumbfounded like, huh, who you talking about, what you talking about, Willis? But she won't say nothing. And I'm like, sis, you got every opportunity to just say what needs to be said while you there. Don't wait until you with Shamia and that other girl to tell them what's going on the show. And you're not going to say what needs to be said when you in the room with the women that you said are plotting against you, like Drew and Porsha, which we're about to get into that story. Because, so it looks like in this whole situation, that people are Team Tamar in this situation. And I have to agree with them. It's like, K Michelle, you coming across looking bitter. You're coming across being like a shady queen, well, even though you're not a gay man. But you're coming across as being shady for no reason. Because people saying, see, Tamar been chilling lately, and here she come. Well, she's about to go shoot. I don't know if they started filming yet, but she got a new reality show that she's doing with Kim Zolciak and Kim, what was it? With Kenya Moore and Margaret Josephs and a bunch of the girls. So she's about to go off and do that. I think in Mexico. Another person said K Michelle must think that she a global superstar or something. And one person said, now listen, I love both of them, but Kay cannot outsing Tamar at all. So it looked like everybody got Tamar's winning the Verzuz if it happens. So that's what it seems like is gonna be going on with that. Now, speaking of Porsha, let's get into that story because K Michelle decided to go in and let have on Porsha for no reason because she running around saying that Porsha is being, I guess, as we said before, she's conspiring against her on on the show, her and Sidora. So they said this isn't K Michelle's first rodeo. The R&B turned country music artist who got her reality start on Love and Hip Hop has found herself at the center of the drama in The Real Housewives of Atlanta after accusing Porsha Williams and Sidora of plotting against her behind the scenes. Now, in the most recent episode of RHOA, the singer revealed that she got a call from a friend confirming that other women on the cast were allegedly scheming against her off camera. The suspects, Sidora and Williams. Now, K. Michelle felt that Williams' comment at dinner about a funky oyster was her subtle attempt at exposing a vulgar rumor that the musician's ex had previously spread about her lady parts. She also accused Sidora of insinuating that she previously had some sort of romantic past with Sidora's friend, Black Tatted. Now, because these accusations seem to come out of left field, many viewers thought K. Michelle was acting paranoid and trying to get ahead of narratives that may not have even existed. But the reality TV veteran doubled down, insisting there was more going on behind the scenes than what viewers saw. So we do have this little clip that she was going in on Porsha trying to revive the smelly coochie situation. And so we're gonna get that clip, we're gonna play it, and we're gonna come back and talk. Please hold.
Just don't be a coward about it. Don't plot. Don't plot no trauma on me.
Yeah.
You know?
And where are things now between you and Porsha? Because I saw the response. Really? Has it gotten to that point?
Man.
And why? And the reason I'm saying this because I think the hurt, it's clearly your hurt, right? And I want people to really understand that. It's not just...
I'm there with that because, honestly,
sure,
she's a fun girl, like all of that. And, you know, we're dealing with a woman who for years have begun called lying on people every year. And when it comes to her, I feel like, you know, she feels like, you know, it's her show or whatever. I never play with line. I never play line leader games. You know, like you're never gonna have me fall in line. You're never gonna make me fall in line. It's just never going to happen.
Right.
So if I don't play it your way, you gonna play it this way, and just know I'm gonna play it that way. So hopefully, you know, I'm always open, especially in this type of arena and things. You have to. I don't know what that woman do with her hot pocket. I don't do certain things. Like some stuff is just not playing. I'm just not
sure.
That.
Like yeah.
But no, that you know that ain't false. You can't say you bringing me into a friend group and you around here you banging on my last known ex and telling him, and he telling me, and you sit here like you my friend. And I'm supposed to sit up here and be all open to be brought into this friend group. And I'm your friend. I'm trying to be your friend. You have you know, what I don't like to do is go on people, what people's reputation are, because I know I've had a reputation.
Right.
And that's not it. So I try to be fair.
Right.
But you also have to be aware.
Right.
Your actions are not that of a girl's girl. They've never been. And if you started looking at me, telling me how much you love me, and I'm knowing everything.
Now, to be fair, did she know? Were you guys friends at that time, or is it like?
No, it's not about that. I got a whole husband.
Right.
It ain't that. It's the fact that you'll see, because I may be getting a little bit ahead.
Right. Well, we'll see.
It's the fact that you were hiding something that you didn't have to hide. On purpose, when I would have sang at y'all wedding. You're gonna do something.
Okay, so that's pretty much what she had to say on that, and it just seems like, you know what, Portia's doing what she got to do because she want to maintain that peach. You know, since all the OGs is gone from the housewives, you don't have a Nene, you don't have a Kenya, you don't have a Porsha. I mean, you do have a Porsha. You don't have a Nene, you don't have a Kenya, you don't have a Kim Zolciak, you don't have I mean, even though she was dry as hell whenever she was on the show, you don't have a shit by Sheree. So in order to keep that momentum going, now Porsha has been positioned to be that head girl holding the peach and trying to carry the show, which she said in the interview she never imagined that would actually happen. But because she is a veteran of sorts, they're trying to make that thing happen. And I do agree with Kay that Porsha has never positioned herself to be sort of like that girl's girl. Like when you went and hooked up with that African who was already with another woman and was thinking that by, you know, tying yourself to whatever it was that he had financially, that was going to set you up for life. And then all the fraudulent stuff started coming out. Then you try to distance yourself from that man faster than Erica Jane distance herself from that husband of hers who's in, I think he might be in prison with the brain rot. So some people say you knew what you was getting yourself into when you got yourself into that situation. But that's not all. So in the thing with this, because you know that was one of the clips that I wanted to show y'all, but there was another one where she spoke to the decider in regards to the thing about Drew and Porsha plotting against her. She said, "I've done reality TV for a decade, even produced reality TV. I know exactly what's going on around me." This is what she told Decider when she stopped by their studio earlier this week. and this is where I got the story from, by the way. I have a big heart, and you can call that sensitive, but one thing I'm not is a fool. I'm not a dummy. I know very much what's going on. I know very much what you're trying to plan and what you're trying to produce. You're not the producer of the show, and I'm seeing you produce. I know exactly what these young ladies were planning. When I let them know I knew it, it shut down what they thought they were about to do. And you know they're going to edit that out the show because you can't break the fourth wall in so many ways. Now, also, could it also be that the producers, excuse me, are putting K. Michelle and Drew up to these things to try to stir the pot with K. Michelle to rile her up because they knew how she was over there on the house, on Love and Hip Hop. They knew exactly how she was on that show, and they trying to get her to come out of pocket. So this is what they're going to do when they trying to get up under her skin to get a rise out of her, and she not giving producers or whatever the satisfaction. So it could be that too. But then they said while K. Michelle and Sidora engaged in a heated exchange, the Jack Daniels singer did not confront Williams over the comments she made in the episode. According to K. Michelle, she wanted to take her time to process the information she was given and figure out how she wanted to respond without crashing out. She said, I've acted emotionally on TV before. It does not make for great TV. Oh, yes, it does. You said it doesn't make for great TV, maybe on your side. But for the people watching at home, oh, that's definitely going to look good for them because it's entertainment. And the producers of the show, you know, they thrive on the mess. So there's no skin on their nose. She said it does make for great TV, but those, unless that's a miswrite on the Decider's part, where they meant to write, it doesn't make for it. Which it does make for great TV. So I was wrong on that. My bad. I read it wrong. So it does make for great TV, but those are things that my son has to see, and that the women who are looking up to me have to watch. So I watch the things I say and I think about it. At that moment, I didn't owe anybody anything. I just wanted them to know I know exactly what's going on. I'm always going to know. Now, when it comes to who told K. Michelle what the women were conspiring against her, she remained tight-lipped. She said, we're just going to say Jesus called, and I'll see you at the reunion about that. Well, maybe, hopefully at the reunion, we'll get who basically was out there telling her stuff, and we can get to the bottom of it. But some people feel like, oh, at this point, K. Michelle just creating narratives for, you know, a storyline or whatever the case is, and she's not a good addition on the show. That's what I've heard because, like I said, I haven't been watching the show. I didn't know if if it's entertaining. I mean, based on some of the clips I've seen, it's cute or whatever, but it's still not something that is gonna draw me enough to want to be like, you know what? I really want to get back in the pocket of watching the Real Housewives of Lynn. I mean, quiet as it's kept, I did start watching Beverly Hills, and I kind of been slowly trying to get through that season. I know the season been over, but I just been like trying to get myself back into it. But these Housewives shows, I just feel like this whole franchise is just, and it's time to come up with something else at this point. But as long as y'all keep watching it, I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding K. Michelle? And would you like to see a versus with her and the Muppet? That's what her words, not mine. And do you think that Porsha and Drew are conspiring against her to, you know, using her to create a storyline? Because, you know, quiet as it's kept in the past, the Housewives really ain't been bringing what needs to be brought in the words of Bring It On. So let me know, or was it that parody of Bring It On? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. That was the parody. Wasn't it Not Another Teen Movie where I got that line from? I think that's where I got it from. So let's see. Xtina and her vocal peen. Oh, you saw her vocal peen. Oh, you mean her pen. Oh, you said her vocal. Oh, wait, peen too. She outstretches vocals too much. Oh, yeah. She be doing too much. Like I told you that story about when she was recording Beautiful, and Linda Perry told that story and told me she wanted to do all them extra runs and stuff on the song. She was like, no, it don't need it. And then so she just did it anyway, listened back on it, and was like, you're right. I'm like, no shit, I'm right. I'm a producer. I wrote the song. I think I know how things are supposed to sound. But a lot of times artists be thinking they know everything, and it's like you need to learn to compromise at times. Because if there was, if artists knew it all, they wouldn't need producers. Perez said Gaga in 2010 was what Taylor was in 2018. Not sure if that made sense, but that's what Taylor Swift. Yeah, Taylor Swift definitely blew up. As I stated, due to the whole Kanye situation, because we didn't know who Taylor Swift was. But it was like after the whole Kanye incident, I do feel like he did help catapult her to the mainstream. I don't think it was intentional, but because that was a perfect opportunity to look at it as like this mean black man picking on this poor little white girl. It definitely helped with her cachet. Not gonna lie, RHOA this year is pretty damn good. Okay, so maybe I will watch it. But yeah, I've been hearing this too. But K. Michelle love to throw rocks and hide her hands. Bring up a photo of Janice. That's who the Muppet. We know who the Muppet is. Janice from the Muppets. I've been calling her that for years, and they definitely look alike. I was so excited when Kay was cast, but she's starting to rival Marlo Hampton as being unworthy of having. That's another thing too. Like on paper, you look at somebody like, oh my God, they'd be such a great addition for this particular show. But then the execution, it's like, no, it's not working. Perfect example, and this is where I'll remember to give the congratulations. Huge congratulations to Honey Davenport or Henny Davenport, who just won Mr. IML International, like the leather situation, the leather contest that they have every year. He's been out. He moved out to Palm Springs. I remember when they moved out to Palm Springs, and there was like a great thing, I guess, on this part. He was looking for a change of scenery, whatever the case was. When moved out of Palm Springs, got into the whole leather community. And I already knew that Honey was more or less into kink and all other stuff because, child, she and I used to go to the car and carry. But also, Honey was a DJ there. So there were times when they were DJing, I would go to those, I would go to her, her shows, whatever the case was, and was DJing all over Hell's Kitchen and stuff too. But in so many ways, Honey was definitely into the whole scene of the leather community, whatever. Went out to, Palm Springs, put in the work, actually, went and did the contest and won. So we got a drag race girl who on paper would look like a great addition for Drag Race because we've been trying to root for her to get on there for years. And then when you finally got on your season, it is like, it just wasn't working the way it needed to work. So congratulations to Henny Davenport for, winning the IML contest out in LA. Child AMA, yeah, the American Music Awards is tonight. I was gonna get to that once I got to the Latifah story. But yeah, the American Music Awards is on tonight, and Latifah is hosting. K. Michelle is slow. Porsha is Beyonce. Nene and Kenya are gone. So yeah, Porsha is the anchor. K. Michelle also needs to save this commentary for the show and stop the side interviews. Exactly. It's like you keep going off and telling people what's going on and playing the victim, but bring that same energy that you have with all these, with Shannon Sharp and all these other people. Bring that same energy to the housewives. But yeah, that's why I said, based over the clips I've seen, it's gonna be a one and done. Look, even Cynthia Bailey is bringing more to the table than K. Michelle. She fighting for her life. She trying to get that peach back. So, maybe that's who y'all need to get a piece to. Miss Cynthia Bailey. I did see her baby daddy when I was at the next game. I was working the catwalk, Celebrity Row, and he walked right past me. He was in my section. So it's like 1989 was when Taylor went to legacy status, and the rest is history. Red was okay, but everything before that was country-esque. Yeah, but that's true. 1989 definitely hit her out the catapulted her because, and that was like when I said I didn't even like when she was doing I didn't care for the other stuff, but when she started going into more of the pop stuff and started doing when she did 1989, that's when I, started to like some of Taylor Swift stuff. But the country is like, no, country is not my judge. Yes, legacy status. All right, y'all. So now let's get back into our messy show. And let's talk about Bicyclist, because she's out here with her foot permanently stuck on Trashy K's neck, Transrena Kibi, because, that's her middle name. Yeah, she don't like the trans, but girl, your mama named you Transrena as your middle name. Now we see why you hate the trans girls. I found out about this story because T.S. Madison said in her on her Twitter, and I was like, Lord Jesus, here we go with the mess. So and she just loved it because Tasha be out here starting her mess. Nobody's bothering her. And here you go, continuously starting your mess with Cardi. If part of the deal is you ain't supposed to be talking about certain things, stop talking about it. So Cardi B is not letting Tasha K judgment fade into internet history, and her latest move shows she is now looking past the blogger herself. The new Cardi B lawsuit filed May 6, 2026 in the Southern District of Florida names Yellen Entertainment LLC and Chekna Kibi, Tasha K's husband, yeah, he African, as defendants in a federal fraud-related case tied to Cardi's years-long effort to collect on her defamation win. Court records list Belcalis Marlenis Almanzar as the plaintiff, Yellen Entertainment and Chekna Kibi as defendants, and identify the case as an other fraud action with Judge Rag Singhal assigned. Yeah, because the rumor was that Latasha was out here hiding her assets under her husband's name. And Cardi, who got money, long money. And y'all was out here bitching how she be getting her money. But look, she got money to play with. So she has money where she could send the Kalinda Sharmas of the world. Because, every law firm got their own Kalinda. If you've seen The Good Wife, you know the reference. Who go out and do the investigating and bring back the dirt on the people that they take into the court. Now, according to the May 6th complaint docketed in South Florida, Cardi team is targeting alleged transfers and business moves that they say kept money away from the court's reach after the original Georgia defamation judgment. The filing focuses on Yellen Entertainment, a company connected to Chekna Kibi, and asks the federal court to address what Cardi's side frames as an effort to move assets and income away from collection. The lawsuit points back to two judgment-related debts from the original Georgia case: $2,863,753.47 tied to Kibi Studios and $3,363,753.47 tied to Tasha K personally. Instead of treating the unpaid judgment as a closed chapter, Cardi's side is now asking the court to look at whether Yellen Entertainment effectively stepped into Kibi Studios' shoes while avoiding the studio's debt. Cardi's team also alleges that Yellen Entertainment was formed after the defamation ruling and then used to take over Kibi Studios' operations and revenue without paying what Kibi Studios owned. The matters because if a court agrees that Yellen is legally a successor to Kibi Studios, Cardi could try and reach money flowing through the newer company. The complaint also targets alleged personal asset movement. Cardi's side claims Tasha K's income was rerouted and bank accounts were changed to avoid garnishment. The filing also points to a Georgia property that Tasha K allegedly transferred to her husband for no value short after the judgment. The latest lawsuit is tied to Tasha K's Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but Cardi's team is arguing that the bankruptcy case does not block claims against third parties. The South Florida docket confirms that a new case was filed separately from the bankruptcy matter, while earlier bankruptcy reporting shows Cardi has been actively challenging how Tasha K handled assets after the judgment. Now, back in December 2024, Cardi asked the Florida Bankruptcy Court to dismiss or convert Tasha K's Chapter 11 case, accusing her of abusing the process and hiding assets. In that motion, Cardi's filing said the bankruptcy court is designed to provide relief to the honest but unfortunate debtor. However, the debtor in this case is neither honest nor simply unfortunate. That filing also alleged that Tasha K transferred assets belonging to her or Kibi Entertainment to Chekna Kibi and Yellen Entertainment after the grand jury or after the jury award. It further claimed she transferred her ownership stake in a home to her husband, spent 25 grand setting up offshore trusts, and gave false testimony about her finances. Now, Cardi originally, as you know, sued Latasha Kibi in 2019 for federal court in Georgia. The lawsuit accused Kibi and her company of defamation, false light, invasion of privacy, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. And there's been so many things that have been coming up, and she continues to defy it. She tries to talk around Cardi in all these other ways and still gets her lashings because you're not supposed to talk about Cardi, you're not supposed to talk about Offset, you're not supposed to talk about Stephon Diggs or anybody that's remotely in her life. If that is a part of the contract, the agreement, that is not what you're supposed to do. And what I don't understand is why this donkey continues to talk about Cardi when there's so many other celebrities that you could be talking about. Cardi is not the only celebrity running around here in these streets that you could talk to. The reality is it's your ego and you're mad because you lost this case. And the fact is that you can't talk about the one person you want to talk about. You want to get your lick back, but your lick backs keep getting your ass put in court. Put your tail between your legs, admit defeat, and move the fuck on. But when you so damn egotistically motivated and you're a dumbass bitch, this is what you're going to keep doing. There's so many other celebrities that you could be talking about, but yet you want to focus on this one. I just don't get it. Because like I said, you can't just take your L and move on. But that's egos for you. And what are you going to do? So at this point, it just feels like if you're not going to learn your lesson, if you're going to continue to try to go against and do whatever you want to do and think that you're not going to keep getting a consequence for your actions, then at this point, just keep going back and forth to court and waste the money. Because Cardi got time and she got the coins to continue taking your ass back to court. I don't think you have the luxury of continuously going back and forth to court and paying lawyers when you could just let this shit ride, pay your portion of what you need to be paying off for this whole situation, and move on to talking about the next celebrity. But it's hard to do that when you don't have a real talent on speaking the news, talking what you need to talk. You always want to have that one up or that exclusive, whatever, because a lot of y'all are money motivated instead of just coming in and doing what needs to be done as a pundit, as a YouTuber, as a commentator. Speak on the things that's out here instead of trying to add a little extra seasoning to the gumbo. When y'all try to do all that extra shit, you're going to end up in a world of lawsuits. And if that's the way you want to be living out the rest of your days, and just be my guest. I just don't understand why Cardi ain't just pull the ultimate guillotine move and just take the whole damn thing down. Destroy her entire empire to the point where she can't even have a goddamn YouTube channel anymore. You just playing with her at this point. That's what it feel like. And she too damn stupid to see it. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards to that? Miss Thing still ain't learned her damn lesson after damn near 6 years of being dragged back and forth in court over this foolishness because she can't take a simple L over the fact that, yeah, bitch, you was out here spreading lies and vitriol about a certain celebrity, and you can't take the fact that this person is taking your behind back and forth to court, and you still haven't learned your damn lesson. Clearly, you got a brain full of rocks. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. It definitely did make her a pop star, but I do also feel like Kanye definitely put her on the map. All right, now, speaking of somebody who still ain't learned a damn lesson, let's get into Shia LaDouche. So, Shia LaDouche has been finally charged with 3 misdemeanor counts of simple battery after he was arrested in New Orleans earlier this year. That'd be February, to be specific, over a bar brawl that I think he got into with a bunch of homosexuals. So, yeah, he out here carrying and can't get his shit together. So, I don't know why it took so damn long. What month we in? May. June is literally around the corner. And it took y'all 3 months to charge him? Okay. So now, according to WWL Louisiana, Thursday court records show that the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office charged the Even Stevens alum, who's 39, with 3 counts of simple battery. The misdemeanor charges comes months after NOPD officers were called to Nolan's party spot R Bar a little before 1 a.m. on February 17th. Staff claimed that the Transformers actor had become combative as the night went on. Now, LaDouche, who has been reportedly been partying and the Big Easy all weekend, allegedly refused to leave and became increasingly aggressive when the bar manager tried to remove him. According to investigators, several people physically restrained the movie star until officers arrived on the scene. Footage from the altercation showed the Fury actor using homosexual slurs before headbutting one of the men involved. Per the police report, one patron suffered a potentially dislocated nose during the fight, despite telling the douche that he didn't want to fight him. A bartender from another establishment who remained anonymous told the outlet that the Disney Channel alum was terrorizing the city. Well, damn. Then he said TMZ later obtained footage of LaBeouf shirtless and receiving treatment from paramedics after the alleged altercation. The whole star, we are going to do reference all his damn movies, page 6. The whole star appeared in court on February 26th and was released on a $100,000 bond. Now, he was also seen mocking his own arrest by putting the jail paperwork into his mouth and dancing around. Now, after being released, the buff was seen in photos obtained by page 6 attempting to go into a church and jogging. The peanut butter, okay, come on with the fucking references. The Peanut Butter Falcon star then sat down for an interview with Andrew Callahan's Channel 5 to explain what happened. Saying, I'll be honest with you, big gay people are scary to me, he expressed during the discussion. While I'm standing by myself and 3 gays are next to me touching my leg, I get scared. I'm sorry. If that's homophobic, then I'm that. No, you're a homophobic piece of shit and you're also a fucking liar. For you to sit up here and use that gay panic defense, you're tired. And number 2, Shia, you ain't that fucking cute. So I don't know why you sit up here thinking like somebody want to talk. You literally look like Hitler's son. Like, come on now. Even though I know you're Jewish, but still, you look like Hitler's child. You can't be running up here talking about how, oh, I'm 3 big gay guys scare me. But you were literally running around being a nuisance in New Orleans. You being around gay people scare you? You work in Hollywood. What gays is running around got you shook and spooked and nervous? Like, get out of here with that. And then y'all up in here using this gay panic defense. It's about as tight as your receding ass hairline. So now he did say that he was wrong for touching anyone, and that the end of my statement on this whole ish. He also said I was drunk and it's Mardi Gras, so everything I'm saying is nonsense. So he says stuff, and then you admitting it's nonsense because that's clearly what it was. 3 gay men scare me. No, take responsibility for your behavior and what you've been running around doing in these streets. So do that. And the fact that Mia Goth don't want to be around your crazy ass no more because you run around acting a fool. So yeah, there's that. So oh yeah, I'm like, did I mess up? I did mess up on something. Hold on. Okay, so yeah. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on this matter about Shia LaDouche finally getting charged. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Child, I made a mistake. I just realized I wrote one of the headlines twice when what I was supposed to do was create a lower third for the Queen Latifah story, but I totally forgot to do that. So my bad. Hold on, because I gotta create that now before we get to that story. All right. Okay. So we are Gucci. All right, y'all. So we are down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you're feeling generous, you could definitely purchase some super chats, some super stickers, all that stuff. Also, you can help with the show by hyping the channel, sharing it amongst your friends, whatever the case is. But yeah, that definitely will help with the algorithm. Excuse me. And also, a big shout out to all the new stragglers that have come in that have subscribed to the channel as of late. Due to my Madonna and Ryan Murphy video that I just did, that has blown up on the channel and all that good stuff. So please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's get into this homosexual story. So apparently there's a singer by the name of Caleb Shomo from a band called Beartooth, which I had never heard of them until I heard about this story. I did listen to some of their music. They've got kind of like this pop rock punk vibe. And then when I watched the video of the lead singer, I'm like, child, who was you fooling that you was a homosexual? I think Helen Keller could have told you that. But I want to be one of those people that be like, girl, we could see that you a whole faggot, but we gotta let people come out in their own time. So we don't want to, rush people out of the closet when they're not ready. But yeah, after 14 years of being married to his wife, he decided to part ways with her and basically came out as a homosexual to his fans. So Shomo shared the news in a statement posted to Instagram on the 23rd of May. Now, I'm going to read y'all the whole situation and basically said, there's been a lot of speculation surrounding my personal life as of late, and I feel compelled to share the record straight before it affects those I love any further. I'm a proudly gay man. Wasn't that same line used, I'm a proudly gay man, wasn't that used by Ricky Martin when he finally came out the closet? This is something I've been unpacking and reckoning with in my life for quite some time now. It's been difficult to navigate the feelings surrounding the subject and figure out what to do with this fact. When it comes down to my art / Beartooth, I have always strived to chase who I am in the deepest way, or the deepest part of my soul from album to album. As you could gather, if you follow the band at all in the earliest years, there are 4 very self-deprecating albums about exploring my religious upbringing, depression, self-hatred, self-loathing, and hopelessness. I'm grateful for all those albums, yet I feel embarrassed at times that I wouldn't allow myself to really dig up the roots for so long. Well, you already hit the nail on the head when you went and said, exploring my religious upbringing. There lies the rub, because you already know when it comes in with religious upbringing and homosexuality, especially in the United States of America, you already know what that gives and what that's going to give. So you're not going to want to dig into that. So I wonder, is Beartooth like a Christian rock band? It didn't particularly say that, but if he said that he was talking about his religious upbringing and all this stuff, I always kind of wondered if that's what the case is. So he said, I spent a decade burying my feelings with alcohol, and honestly, when I decided to put it down and focus on exploring why I felt this way for so long, it's been a direct path to me reconciling with my sexuality in hopes that it will eventually lead to me experiencing self-love. One thing I decided before I wrote a single note of the upcoming album is that whatever happens, I will express myself wholeheartedly and fully. Wherever it takes me, I will follow, and I refuse to water any part of it down. From the music to the lyrical content and the way I portray myself, I will only do what makes me happy at the deepest level of what is the most honest depiction of who I am. I believe it's impossible to have every part of you, to love every part of you when you won't face every part of you head on. I'm trying to finally be proud of who I am, and I think this is a massive part of my journey. To those who have shown me love, empowerment through living life freely and openly in my presence, supporting the queer community, or simply telling me you love me whoever I am forever in your debt and hope you know that what you mean to me. I encourage anyone who's struggling with who they are to give yourself grace, give yourself patience, be honest with yourself, do the hard work instead of burying it down as deep as you physically can, thinking it will change like I did. Holding these things in only hurt you and those around you. Love you all, and hopefully this is a step in the right direction to loving myself one day. So I couldn't have said that better myself. Like putting that whole lengthy statement out, and Deborah's like, yeah, he's trying to unpack and deal with a lot of things. I try to be what society wanted me to be. I went and I got married to a wife. Whatever the situation was going on with him and his wife, that's between them. She seems to have given words of encouragement and everything regarding that. And I'm sure there's a lot of women who deal with the fact that, a lot of men are trying to kill the part of themselves that makes them special, which would be their homosexual side. And then they go and they try to, they marry a woman and try to bury those feelings, and they use drugs in order to suppress it. But what you always have to realize is that everything dark eventually always comes to the light. And that part of you that people say is wrong and an abomination and all that other stuff. No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with you. God makes no mistakes because you were born this way. Y'all knew that was coming. But you just have to be you at the end of the day, and you can't hide up that aspect of who you are. So I'm glad that he's finally come to this conclusion about himself. He's accepting that part of himself that he's tried to bury for so long. And now, post this, you are a work in progress. Now you'll be able to be having your period of, your puberty situation. Because I remember I posted something about that. Like, yeah, we didn't get to have a lot of gay men and women did not get to have a childhood growing up. We were all in survival mode where we had to hide that part of who we were because you were getting bullied in school. We were getting picked on and all that other stuff. And we had to, suppress that side of who we are. But then once you come to the side of yourself when you embrace your full homosexualness, then it's like, okay, now the second age of puberty begins when you get to go through, I can comfortably date someone of the same gender. I can go around and do all the things that my younger self was not allowed to have because the fear of rejection and bullying and the hate that comes from homophobes and people who won't accept you 110% for who you are. So kudos to you for that long speech and get it out there and people understanding you. And who knows, maybe this will draw people into listening to your music because quiet as it's kept, there are a lot of people out here who do, there are gays that love rock music. We're not all about the dance music. Like there's some of us who like rock and stuff too. So the more we get people that come to this space that are into the rock music world and are happen to be homosexual, the better it is for more kids out there who are probably struggling through the same things that Caleb's going through. So congratulations to you, sir. And I say all this to say, excuse me, what do you guys think of this story? Have you ever heard of Beartooth? And have you heard their music? Like I did listen to some of their music earlier, and I was just like, okay, it's cute or whatever. But I mean, it's not my cup of tea. But hooray and congratulations to you for living your truth finally. So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's move on. Now, speaking of closeted or coming out of the closet, coming out of the dark. Let's talk about Queen Latifah. So it looks like after many years of people speculating, being like, why she ain't come out the closet? Why she ain't admitting she a lesbian? Why she ain't admitting she like the clam chowder? Now, like she finally is talking about it in an interview with her girl, and I love her too, Angie Martinez. She did her IRL podcast where they basically opened up why she chose the 2021 BET Lifetime Achievement Award speech to come out and reveal that she likes the peachy. So now we do have the clip. I want y'all to hear what she had to say. It is a pretty long clip, but I feel like with the context, we definitely just need to hear what she got to say. And we are going to watch what she had to say and then come back and talk. Please hold.
I had the Brat on and Judy.
No
Have
question.
you ever spent time with the Brat and Judy?
I would like to spend some time
You
with the
should
Brad and Judy.
absolutely spend time with them.
Especially now.
They are so funny.
That's what I need to be around.
No, they are so funny. But the Brat was explaining to me, like, there was a time that she couldn't do certain things and be certain ways. And that was just it. That was the law. And then she got to a point, she was like, look, I just want to, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
no
you
more.
stop
Like,
caring.
You stop caring. Now she's way more open with her.
Right.
They got a reality show. She's not like you. Yep. She's way more open, and that's her choices, everybody's choices. But I'm just saying, like, the feeling of feeling, I don't know, you just, even the little bit that you share now, you seem happy and free about it. You don't seem pressed about it, but you also, I just wonder if there was another side of that. If you ever felt
definitely
tight. And
no question. I felt tight from jump. But what I felt was, and I still feel it, people think they know me and they don't. Like, I'm still not the box you think I'm in. Like, whatever you think, you're wrong 9 times out of 10. And that is why I really can't justify all your thoughts, dear public. God
dear
bless
public.
you. Dear public, I cannot justify all your thoughts about me by either verifying or, I don't need to clarify that, because my life is much more rich than whatever you think. My life is way more colorful than all that. You know what I mean? I'm a Pisces. You know what I'm saying? A full-blooded, free-ranging Pisces over here, and I do what I feel. You know what I'm saying? So you may have to live your life like this, and so you're trying to figure out, how does she live her life?
Yeah, they want to know. They want to know.
Oh, you can't even believe it. Whatever you thought, think bigger. You know what I mean? Go further. You ain't far enough. Yes, that's good. Now go further.
This without being too nosy, but it's like, you have made a shift, a public shift.
Damn, did I?
You did.
What I do?
Stop. You are a married woman with a child. You do carpets with your wife. I met your wife at the Mary J. Blige concert, by the way. I think I met her briefly before, but I saw her there.
She was going on.
I told her we were coming up to the pod. She was like, "Good, get her." No, she didn't say it. Well, maybe she said something like that. She said,
Good Lord.
It was great. But when you've let people in a little bit, I mean, you went on a stage, the tiniest bit. So I'm not gonna ask about details about none of the intimate home.
Thank you.
I won't. I promise. I won't. But you did go on stage. You shout pride. You clearly are living in your truth and your family and your life.
Pride Day.
Dana,
I can't do just
Latifah.
the regular shit.
Stop.
They gotta be looked at deeper. It was the damn Pride Week in LA. I'm sorry.
No, stop.
Talk to me.
You made a choice to do that.
I did.
Yeah. So what about can you talk about that? Like that decision to just make that choice in a woman who's had the career that you've had, with the speculation for all those years, and the decision to be so private, to make a decision to go, you know what? I'm gonna just say this and leave it right there. Like, that's a decision. Like, so what makes you make that decision? And then what does that feel like? I guess is the question.
I was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I didn't want to leave out the people who were part of the Lifetime.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's about it.
That was it?
That's it.
Really?
It's really that simple.
It was not more complicated than
was
that?
so not more complicated than that. And it's funny because it's not always that deep.
Some people think that if you don't share, it means you're hiding something, versus I'm okay with just not sharing. I guess maybe that's the difference.
I mean, or maybe it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, or kind of hanging out, people just are, even in this business, people are just so fascinated about people's private lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so fascinated by what you're doing with your private life. Why? Is it because you're curious? Is it because you're intrigued? Is it because you might you'd be surprised?
Mm-hmm. I think also sometimes people want to know how you're navigating.
Listen,
because it's hard for others.
Personally, how I'm navigating, but don't expect, unless it's Angie, I may tell you how I navigate.
Okay.
I'm on my business. It's okay to mind your business and handle your business.
Mm-hmm.
I do try to mind my business.
Hold on, I had my thing muted. It was like, look, so mind the business, girl. Mind the business. Mind the business. That's what she said. Remember that from Fresh Prince? But anyway, so Miss Dana Elaine is out here saying that what was the reason and all this other stuff. And it's like, girl, quiet as it's kept. We all knew. I mean, she was always outside. And I don't remember if she said this in the clip, but yeah, she was always outside. She was like, I was basically living my life. And yes, some people look at her sideways because it was like, but yeah, you were the same one that was running around making it seem like you was dating men. Also, my boyfriend, she would say that in interviews. And then I'm sitting there like, the Wendy Williams look like, girl. But as the Brat alluded to, in an interview that she did, because she said that she spoke previously about Latifah's influence on her own decision to come out, waiting on what that moment meant for artists of her generation, saying it was against the rules back in the day for a female artist. You couldn't do that. You couldn't tell that. Remember, Ellen DeGeneres lost everything back in the day. And people have to realize, it's like, yeah, you could not be out back in the days, in like the 90s and the 2000s or whatever the case was, and have a real big career. The closest y'all got to Latifah being Latifah was when she was Cleo and Set It Off, as in the lesbian aspect. Now, the criminal or the other stuff, yeah, that was part of the script. But seeing Latifah be on her element, oh, that you got that from watching her as Cleo and Set It Off. But I totally understand, like when she was talking about her wife Ebony and all this other stuff, and yeah, that's, to me, that's the perfect way, in my opinion, to come out as part of the community, is that you go and, okay, so I got a Lifetime Achievement Award. This is the perfect time that I want to come in and just reveal that this is me, this is my life, and this is who I'm living my life with. I don't need to go and make a whole big public statement in People magazine and say I'm gay in the font. Like, I don't need to, I mean, I'm not, and there's no shade to anybody who wants to do that, but I don't need to come out and do that in my way. She's doing it in an old school, subtle type of way that she decided to do it. It's like, yeah, then people go, well, we been new. But yeah, y'all the same ones that was bitching and moaning because she ain't said nothing. And I like the fact that Latifah lives a quiet life. The reason why I put this picture, because that's Ebony next to her, the woman she's been in a long-term relationship with, and who she has a child with. So yeah, I used to see Dana Elaine down at the pier all the time when she would drive through the area with a new girl every week, and on the passenger side of her best friend's ride, trying to holler at me. No, that's a joke. But every time I say passenger side, I always think TLC, no scrubs. Except she had, I don't know if she had scrubs in the seat. But Latifah was outside and she was carrying, she was being her big old lesbian self. But all jokes aside, she was doing her. It's just the fact that because she wasn't announcing it from the rooftops in front of a mainstream audience, people feel like she wasn't being bulldaggerish enough. But Latifah was outside. So shout out to her. Shout out to that video. Shout out to Angie Martinez, because, you know, it's nobody but Angie Martinez is going to get that side of her to come out. It's like Angie Martinez definitely got like these real close kinships with certain women in the industry that'll really like go and get deep with her. I believe she'll get it with her, with Latifah, with Mary J. Blige, a couple of others, but those are like the top two, excuse me, off the top of my head, that I could see her having that situation with. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what Queen Latifah revealing why she chose the BET Award speech to publicly come out of the closet? And also, if you want to see more Latifah, she is hosting the American Music Awards in 45 minutes, because it is about 7:18 as I'm doing this story. And I believe the AMAs is at 8 o'clock, live on ABC. I'll probably watch it tomorrow because it'll be on Hulu. So, oh wait, I don't think it's on Hulu. I think it's on Paramount, right? I think it's CBS. So I have Paramount Plus. I actually have the live feed where I can watch it as it's happening. But I hate ads. I hate all that stuff. So I'm gonna just wait till tomorrow and just watch it, because I'm sure there's quite a few performances and award giveaways that I'm not gonna care about. I'm gonna just skim right through it. But I definitely want to see Latifah, because I've been a Queen Latifah fan for a long time, since, you know, her hip hop era, when she was doing the hip house type sound, where she was rapping over the house beats, and then she did Black Rain, and then she had the acting career, and then, you know, living single and all the movies and all the other stuff. So I'm a big Latifah fan. So shout out to her, and shout out to Living Your Truth niece, auntie, because you owe them to be my aunt. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's see what the people are saying. Like psychologists said, people might be confused why we hook up much longer than heterosexual. Is because if we were allowed to be ourselves as teens, we wouldn't be trying to. Well, exactly, because, you know, when you straight, you get the luxury of dating and getting in relationships and having sex and doing all that stuff. The gays are busy trying to play catch up. So we're out here trying to sleep with every Tom, Dick, and Harry until we find our prince, except, there's still people in that mentality of always trying to find the next big thing because you think that person you with now is clearly not enough, but that's a whole nother situation you just got to deal with. But yeah, it's like we're still acting like teenagers trying to play catch up. So when people try to, and which is why I don't understand why gays try to mirror heteronormative relationships. We ain't like them. The one good thing about us being homosexuals is we not like them. They not like us. And that's a good thing. We're individuals. We stand out. So I don't understand why they be feeling like we got to try to mirror their ideologies when quiet as it's kept. They don't even mirror their own ideologies. They out here cheating too because they didn't have their slut period. Whereas the gays are having a slut period until they get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm ready to settle down. I got all that out of my system. Now I want to be in a relationship. Usually they wait till they old to have that happen. But because of society, they be telling people, well, you need to get married at this age. You need to have kids at this age. You need to have the house and the white picket fence and 2 cars and a dog and all that mess. I met her when she was a teenager. She was very pleasant and her skin glowed. He said, I'm walking on eggshells. You don't need to walk on eggshells. It was just, I was like, whatever you were saying, I'm like, what are you even talking about? But you don't have to walk on eggshells around me. I don't like when people have to do that. Because I remember her specifically denying her queerness in interview. Exactly. And that's what I was saying before. We're not going to sit up here and try to act like, oh, well, it was just a situation. I just decided to bring it up. Girl, you used to sit up here and try to act like you was fucking men back when you had a big old career. You was hiding who you were. And I get it because I understand how this industry is. Especially when we got a whole bunch of faggots running around the industry behind the scenes. You can't be out in public, which makes no damn sense. So, there was a lot of that. And it's like, I'm glad you remember just like I remember. Honestly, I don't think any of us were entitled to know a mainstream celebrity's orientation. Are we curious? Naturally, yes, but is it really our business? No. Some fans need to stay in their lane. Place. I do agree. She well, look, he did say he was bisexual, or did he ever say he was bisexual, or did he say that he was just trans attracted? Because he was out here dating the dolls. Child, I used to get look, him and Michael D. Lorenzo. I used to get a vibe from them on New York Undercover. I told you I was on New York Undercover back in the day. I got to go to the set because of my teacher. It said, "Do you feel no ways excited about a new?" You said no way. No, I'm. Well, I can't even talk. First of all, I didn't even know the album was coming out this week. You said I saw the official track list, and this is what she was fighting with her label. Her label for. Wait, did Robert send the track list or something? I skimmed over it because I don't think I cared enough. So I don't know. I'll listen to it, but I'm not having high expectations. As y'all know, I got high expectations for Madonna, which is coming out in a month, and Adam Lambert. Those are the ones I'm more excited for. But yeah, I'm not all that excited. But if she wanted that album to come out during Pride Month, and if that album is a chop, we will talk about it and we will read her when we come back on the show. But yeah, he was like, you was fighting with your label for this mess. Speaking of which, there's one of my friends who owns this independent fashion business called Rico Star. He makes really good Madonna t-shirts. I bought one from him before that has Madonna's name on it. I'm gonna look for it, and then because I was like, damn, I forgot I had that shirt. But there's 2 shirts from him I want to get. One, it says "I feel so free" on it, and it's got the Pride colors written in the font. So I gotta get that. His shirts are hella expensive though. Like there's shirts that go for $75, there's shirts that go for $65, there's shirts that go for damn near $100. But the quality of the shirts is actually good. So, and I met him because I think he did a cover of Madonna's "Deeper and Deeper" at Chauncey Dandridge's Madonna Worship. And since then we became good friends. This was back in the day. And he has a t-shirt. Look, I'm putting this out there because, and I'm gonna wear the shirt and I'm gonna do a little promo thing so that way he could be a sponsor. Like this promo code, you get this shirt for a certain percentage right around the time when the Madonna album comes out. Oh, maybe I should run that by him and see what he say. And you said Stevie Wonder could see Latifah was rainbow. Okay. Why do straight men marry women? I don't know. You gotta. Oh, you talking about straight men marry lesbians? Do they? I don't know. You have to ask them. And why do gay men marry? Why do gay men marry women? But I think that might be because it's putting on a cover up, a perception of you're not comfortable enough to want to be out in your own skin. So now I gotta go through the motions of I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna have the kids, but because you know how many. I ain't gonna go there because there was a married man that tried to get me recently. I was like, had the ring on and everything. So you know how these men get when they get a little drink up in them? Did you see that the retired Stan and me came out in your Facebook comment section to defend Olivia Rodrigo? That was you? Came out in your Facebook comment. We said the retired Stan and me came out in your Facebook comment section to defend Olivia Rodrigo from a Bjork cosplayer. Yeah, when I said that Bjork cosplayer thing, how did I not put two and two together and realize that was you over there? He said she's not waiting to challenge Confessions 2 because Warner is actually happy with the results. Yeah, that's all that's married. I mean, that's all that's married. That's all that matters because I'm reading a little. What you just finally came out of your crypt to respond in the comments? I didn't even know you was in here. Well, look, I closed my legs to a married man. My name is not Kim Zolciak. I'm not a trash box hooker. So I ain't doing that. Yeah, nobody told you to give it. Look, if y'all gonna keep waiting, look, at least Latifah came out. Y'all still out here waiting for Miss Perry to admit she like peen. Well, you said why does the world believe Tyler Perry is rainbow? Well, okay. Well, I had to throw a little shade. But you said, why does the world believe Tyler Perry? Well, I think you would think why some people believe he's straight. Not gay, because the whole gay rumors, child, there's people that I know that are not like in this whole situation like we are, but are like of the church and have said these things right around me where it's like, oh, we know she one of the girls. Well, that's me saying one of the girls. They don't be knowing the phrases, but they know that Tyler Perry is family. I don't care how many children you try to push out or how many beards you try to pretend is your girl. People, they know the tea. But anyway, enough of the shit. I mean, enough of that shade. Let's get into this shade. Let's talk about Courtney. So Courtney appeared recently on Kelly Mantle's show. She be getting good interviews, by the way, and spilled some tea in regards to why RuPaul apparently blocked her over after going at her over a situation that happened on the show. So if people don't realize what happened, there was a segment that they did during her season, with her and Bianca Del Rio. That was like the Mount. I feel like that was could we call it the Mount Rushmore of seasons? So they had the best cast on there. You had Courtney Act, you had Bianca Del Rio, you had Alaska, you had who else? Adore Delano. You had what's Kelly Mantle on that show too? There was a lot of strong queens. Laganja Estrada. Oh, you had her on the show. But there was like that was the a strong season. Wait, isn't our current season? No, wait, no, that wasn't season. She wasn't on season. What season was she on? Why am I drawing a blank? Was she on season 5 or she was on season 6? Like, why am I forgetting what season that Miss Girl was on? So yeah, so it's literally been over 10 years, I should say this, since RuPaul basically told Courtney Act to not rest on pretty, but it looked like RuPaul is resting on petty because there was a segment that they did on the show where they did, okay, that was, I think that might have been the season. So it was like female or she-male. I don't know if y'all remember that. where they had these little paddles that they held up. Where it was like, you look at a picture, one identify is it a female or a she-male? Which here's the thing. Okay, it was season 6. Thank you. I knew I was right with the whole Bianca Del Rio and all this stuff. How am I all of a sudden I'm getting my seasons confused? So season 5 was what Alaska was on. Season 6 is with Bianca. Anyway, so they had the paddle, that sort of thing. And I guess the girls was all I don't even remember that episode because it was during the season. But if you try to watch reruns, it's not there no more. So when the episode aired, it started a whole outrage. People were upset. And Courtney said that she wrote like a little Facebook post or whatever the case was, where she was like, I'm grateful for the show, whatever, but was condemning Rue and them for putting something like this up there. Because don't get me wrong, I love the, ooh, girl, you got she-male, because to me, it was a play on Tyra male, which is where they got that from. And I understand you were doing the she-male, tranny, like they were using tranny checks. Like RuPaul is notorious for having trans songs on his earlier stuff, which was edgy at the time. That was like during the Red Hot era and all that other stuff. But looking at it now, people look at it as it's transphobic. But we get it. It's like jokey. He don't take things seriously. It's a play on words. That's the way the older generation looks at it. The newer generation is very much more politically correct, blah, 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 whatever. So Courtney was asked about it and by Kelly Mantle, and she spilled the tea on what happened. So we have the clip. So let's go. I just want to set all that up before we got to it. And hopefully we don't get no ads or whatever that's playing in it. So we'll go back and we'll talk. Please hold.
You talk about the relationship with World of Wonder. So it was how long after season 6 was it that RuPaul blocked you on Twitter?
It wasn't that long. And I think it was around the time there was a conversation, there was a challenge on season 6 where we had to hold up a paddle that said female or she-male, which has actually been edited out of, it went to broadcast
on streaming,
but it's now been edited out of streaming, where we were shown pictures of cis women and trans women, but like close-ups. And we had to hold up a paddle being like, is this a female or a she-male?
I remember that.
And then that sparked a conversation about the T-slur.
Uh-huh.
And then Rue kind of at that point doubled down and said, if you're worried about me calling you a word, then you've got bigger problems. And I was like, oh, here's a great opportunity. RuPaul's going to really respect this. I'm going to like write a Facebook post, very thoughtful, send it to my manager, like got some edits to take out the temperature and make sure that it was open, and just saying like, oh, you know, I agree in some ways. Like, I think trans people do have bigger problems than just a word. And I feel like we should be listening to them and focusing on this is the part where I paint myself as an angel in this story, by the way. Talk about some of the other issues about like homelessness and violence and all of these other metrics that trans people have to struggle with in the real world that aren't the same for other LGBTQ brothers, sisters, and non-binary folk.
Right.
And I thought, like, I was like, this is really thoughtful. Rue's going to really appreciate me engaging in intelligent conversation rather than just internet slander. Blocked.
Girl, she did a TLDR, too long did not read.
Very that.
Blocked.
But then I actually kind of understand. And you know what's weird is that I wouldn't say it's a recurring dream, but it is a dream that has recurred.
Uh-huh.
And I had it kind of recently. I was with a friend and we were doing a hike and we'd taken magic mushrooms as well. So I feel like the brain is extra open.
Tuned in.
And on the walk back from the hike, we were talking, Drag Race came up. And so I was talking about it all. And I went to bed that night and I had this dream. And in the dream, Rue and I were friends. And we were like hanging out. And I was like, oh, actually, do you know what? I always knew this. Like I knew that we would like each other if we were just like hanging out and having a good time. I feel like something happened somewhere where everything got mixed up. And I even remember in the dream going, is this a dream? This feels like and I was like, let me just check, ask somebody, am I having a dream right now? And they're like, no, girl, this is real. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad. I felt this like sense of relief and comfort knowing that it had been like laid to rest.
Right.
And then I woke up and I was like, I felt so ripped off because I even thought, is this a dream?
Yes.
And double checked inside the dream.
Uh-huh.
But
so is that's obviously something that you wish could and would happen?
I think so.
At some point, yeah.
I think life's too short to bother. I mean, I think RuPaul thinks life is too short to bother.
Right.
But I think...
Did she ever unblock you? Or I mean,
she did.
Oh, she
actually,
did?
Yeah.
Okay. Then there was a gesture there of like...
There was a gesture, but there was also a message that came with the gesture.
Oh, what did it
Which
say?
was, I think I've talked about this, or maybe I wrote about it in the book. Todrick Hall and I were filming some videos together. And I told him about the blocking and he was like, this must be a mistake. Let me message Ru. Ru called him. And Todrick was on the phone to Ru for about an hour.
What?
Just pacing back and forth outside the room. And I was sitting there like,
oh, I didn't know anything about this.
And Todrick came in and he was like, well, it wasn't an accident that she blocked you.
Oh my God.
And she knows that we're friends. And so she asked that I don't go into the details, but she did say that I could tell you, I just don't like you. And I was
Are
like,
you serious, Courtney? I did not know this.
And then I got unblocked, but
That's weird. Why would you get unblocked after a message like that, I wonder?
In a weird way, like this is the 12 years later sort of mature version of me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I mean, this is...
I kind of get it. Like it's 2014. You're just trying to do good in the world. You're giving these queens opportunities. You're putting them on television. You're giving them a leg up in the world. And then those little bitches go around and like criticize you for like some detail of this or some detail of that whilst there's an internet pylon going on. And,
right.
And that was kind of the thing of like, I guess biting the hand that feeds you. And there's a fine line between not being open to criticism and biting the hand that feeds you. But I mean, I genuinely, and I think like that dream in a weird way, as much as it's my subconscious maybe desiring that to happen, I think it's also my subconscious resolving sort of a sense of peace with that and saying a little bit like, you don't like me, that's fine, but I like you. And I do admire, look up to, I'm able to separate the art and the artists and actually see it for what it was.
Exactly.
Okay. So I feel like we got the point at this point. But to me, it's just like, yeah, I get it. On one hand, it's like you're creating this opportunity for the queens to come in and speak. I mean, to have a platform where they can be just as successful as a RuPaul. And RuPaul is also, out of all of the girls, benefiting the most from doing this show. But the show is not above criticism. And the fact of the matter is that people are saying that they find this stuff offensive, and then Ru's like, oh, it's just words. Okay, well, somebody called you out of your name and said some negative thing, because I always know y'all always try to do the what people think of me is none of my business, and you know, whatever phrase you want to use, you know, that Ru always got these little isms that he likes to run around with. But you can't expect other people to follow that same mantra. That's not how people work in that way. So if people like Carmen Carrera and a bunch of other girls was feeling like this whole segment was an issue, or you saying you got she-male or whatever the case, and they're criticizing that, I mean, I think on one hand the fans are happy that we have someone in the drag race world that's speaking up. And in a way, it's like, yeah, it's biting the hand that feeds you, because, yeah, I got these opportunities. But here's the thing. No one is beyond reproach, I think, is what I want to say about all of this. It's like, yeah, I appreciate that you've given me a platform. I appreciate that you've given me opportunities. But still, it doesn't mean that I should just expect disrespect. I shouldn't have to put up with disrespect because this show was giving me an opportunity, and you're saying you're playing a game that's offensive to trans people, where it's like, clock this, who's a trans and who's not a trans, especially when we don't, I mean, back then, I don't think it was that bad, but especially we're in a time now where trans people are consistently being bashed and their lives taken or constantly harassed by people out here because they believe a lot of the transphobic rhetoric that so many people be trying to put up on social media with they stupid ass think pieces. I just saw some fat bitch with no neck recently that T.S. Madison posted on her page trying to go into my "you are a man" and it's that it's like, and you a bitch who can't get no love from a cisgendered male, but you up in here worrying about what the trans girls is doing. So be open to listen to criticism. But to me, it always seemed like Rue was never that type of person that could be open to that. Because remember when they gathered his ass when he did that interview with The Guardian and was talking about the difference between people like, say, a Trinity the Tuck or a Detox, who Detox ended up coming out trans later on. But a lot of the girls who go and get enhancement put in their body so that way they can have feminine features, or like Akira Davenport, where they have feminine features so that way they don't have to pad like the old school drag queens would do. They sit up in there and they put all the padding and all the other stuff on to give the illusion that they're a woman. The girls these days, they're going out getting all kinds of shit injected in their ass and everywhere else so that way it gives them that quick, I could just put everything here, there, and everywhere so that way I can have my feminine situation situated. But then again, Akira did say that once upon a time she flirted with being trans and then realized that she wasn't. But we should also respect our trans people too, because if it wasn't for a lot of the trans people in our community, people would, gays wouldn't have the rights that they have today. Shout out to Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson, who were the pioneers in the gay rights movement and being two trans women of color. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? If you definitely want to see the rest of the Courtney Act interview, definitely head over to Kelly Mantle's channel over on YouTube and watch the rest of the interview, because it was a really good interview. So, and she always gets good interviews and doesn't have to be messy in order to get good tea. It's just have a conversation and you'll get the stuff given to you. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Child, I almost forgot how to take out my lower third. But anyway, let's see what the people are saying. Notice how Warner shifted from "Bring Your Love" to "I Feel So Free," realizing the impact in gay clubs and how the embrace was way more organic because it shocked the Gen Z marketing that "I Feel So Free" is the actual smash hit. Yeah, because it's a real club song. It was made for the clubs. And so I do agree with that. It's like, yeah, do the whole club thing. Everything ain't about, well, we need to do the TikTok and all that other stuff. It's like, really put your music out there. Try to get what I think people need to go back to the old school way we used to do things. Get back to, if y'all really about that dance music, really get out there and hit up the DJs and send them a stem of your music and let them play it in the clubs and see how the fans respond or the kids respond, instead of just, I need to go viral so some 12-year-old can stream my shit 80 million times. It's like, okay, that's good. Are you making music for 12-year-olds and you grown? Yeah, it was like Courtney I was on season, I kept going back and forth. I was like, season 5, season 6. No, it was season 6 with Bianca. Because she was in the top 4. It was her, first of all, and then the other one, oh my God, what's her name? The Lost All That Damn Weight, and she's on the current season. Is she on? No, I know what I'm watching. I'm watching the news. I'm watching All Stars 8, and Delta Workers on. What is it? Delta Work? No, it was the other one. Who was the big girl that was on there that did the whole mimic the same move that Adore did? He said Kelly Mantle was on that season. Yes, she was. I would definitely put season 6 in the Drag Race Mount Rushmore along with seasons 5, 12, and 9. I went on Facebook. YouTube keeps dipping out. I was like, what's going on with YouTube? He said, if Stop That Train was made in 2014, there would be 100 T-Slur train jokes. Of course, it was a different time. But homosexual men were a little too comfortable degrading trans people, and they still doing it. And that's what it is. It's like, you're not trans, so of course it's not going to affect you. He said before it became common knowledge not to say that the T-slur, if you're not trans, pre-2015 homosexual culture was always was always amazed me. A lot of body shaming and a lot of transphobia. RuPaul's also the only queen that wasn't in drag for his own film premiere. Oh, you know what? And the people was reading him over that. The fact, because there was a whole online discourse about the fact that Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange showed up on the red carpet out of drag. And people were saying they weren't being paid, so why would they show up in drag on the thing? Plus, you're sitting there watching the movie for 2 hours, you're uncomfortable, you're tucked, all that other stuff. I mean, Simone Ye showed up in drag, and that's your decision if you want to show up in drag. But yeah, Rue, you need to lead by example. Because the fact you keep showing up in them tied-ass Pee Wee Herman suits and looking crazy with your big old peanut-shaped head and thinking that okay, because I'm RuPaul and I'm separating myself from the drag of it all. You only show up for like 5 minutes in drag when you're doing Drag Race. We see you in all. You spend more time out of drag than in drag. And my thing is, yeah, we get it because that was supposed to be the whole thing, like Project Runway, where it's, you show up one way, then when it's time for the challenge, now you're all glammed up and all this other stuff. So we got that whole situation of the Showtime aspect. Funny enough, the Boulets, they show up in drag throughout the whole thing. We don't even know what they look like. Well, I don't, because I don't even know if there's pictures out there, and I haven't really looked. But we haven't seen them in their man geesh. So I don't know. But at the same time, it's just like, it's freaking annoying that, okay, you do get paid to do this Drag Race stuff and you want to show up as your male counterpart more than anything. I just feel like Rue checked out a long time ago and maybe need to step down and let somebody step in. And a lot of people, from what I was seeing on this recent poll, a lot of people want Bob the Drag Queen to step in. I mean, quiet as it's kept, Bob do got the bigger career at this point, so why not? RuPaul needs to realize that while they appreciate the opportunity, they're all adults. Therefore, have a human right to show they do individual thinking. Because, well, how can they do that when this heifer just went and we did a whole segment on it? Most people are stupid, so why don't we just dance and twirl around in our houses like we're Britney fucking Spears? Like, that's literally what he was saying at one point. So he looks at a majority of us like we ain't got a brain. So how would he do that when it was an individual thing? He thinks most individuals can't think for themselves. That I guess you the smartest one in the room. You ain't smarter than me, sir. And he said these queens, Alaska included, needed to realize that Rue has a right to go no contact when he feels publicly disrespected, just like everyone else does. Oh yeah, because you're saying like because Alaska's wondering why they won't have her come back and do All Stars, and I'm like, if that ruined your situation because you're in line with Willem, then make your money elsewhere. You don't need Drag Race at this point. As long as their viewpoint is said respectfully, Rue should respect it. Well, child, he don't like anybody having any kind of remote criticism, because then the hate train starts, the blocking starts, the I don't know her starts. I honestly feel like Bob and Monet think they're above drag at this point. Their podcast together is out of drag. Monet's solo podcast is out of drag. A lot of his YouTube videos are out of drag too. That's why I'm like, if my brand is drag, it's like, yeah, if I'm going to go with certain events, I'm going to go as a man. But if my brand is a drag queen, I'm going to get glammed up. I'm going to dress up because that's part of the brand. But that's not all of who I am. You're going to see other sides of me. But it's like, yeah, they're trying to brand. People feel like it's branding themselves as I'm more than just this persona. But if that's the case, show that in other ways. Social media allows you to do that, where you can have like a separate thing that you do where you're like, this is me outside of drag and you're getting the vulnerable side. But a lot of you have to realize, like, yeah, the reason why people gravitated towards y'all was because of the persona of you being on a drag show. So it's like they're all trying to find like that. Child, I was about to say this. Mistress gets in drag every Monday for Mistress Monday, and why she's in my top 3 queen. And not only that, but there's quite a few. You see Kelly Mantle gets up there in drag. Courtney was in drag. There's quite a few queens that I see where they do their shows, their YouTube channels, whatever, that they're in drag. You be seeing what's her name? Deja Sky. She be in drag too. And the crazy part is they're not even that famous. Someone that doesn't watch Drag Race or keep up with famous drag queens know what a Monet exchange is. Oh, is she? Well, you look, I don't be paying attention to every girl that comes out of a closet as transgender. There was somebody that they was talking about that was trans. Oh, who was it? I think one of my friends they were going in on him on social media because there was somebody at the Drag Race premiere. There wasn't a lot for the All Stars that their little cocktail thing that they had, because it wasn't a real premiere. It was a cocktail get together. That's what they had. So yeah, the budget is that bad over there at World of Wonder and Paramount Plus. They gave them a little cocktail soiree. That's what it was when people took pictures. And so he was saying like, oh, the girls didn't really get in drag. The only one that they saw that was like glammed up or whatever was Jasmine Kennedy. And I was like, well, Jasmine's trans, so she's gonna get glammed up. But and then they were showing like some of the other girls, a lot of them came in they boy drag. Because I remember I was hearing that some of them were saying, well, if it's not gonna be like a thing where we do a whole red carpet and everything, then why do I need to get all dressed up for? Like, who am I getting dressed up for? If I'm not gonna be able to showcase all my glam for like the press, what's the point? But anyway, now speaking of Drag Race, let's get in our final topic and talk about Drag Race All Stars 11. So the the fourth episode, sorry, fifth episode's next week. So the fourth episode, which is the second bracket, finally popped up on the situation. And it looks like we got 6 more queens in the workroom. And I have to say, this has been the first time, because, I really haven't, Drag Race is kind of like, been hit or miss for me. But I will say this, when we got to this second bracket, I feel like that's when the girls really started to show up and show out. So now in the fourth episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, All Stars 11, we got 6 more queens that sashayed into the workroom to duke it out under the second bracket. So we got the returning queens such as April Carrion from season 6. That was another season 6 girl. I couldn't remember why I couldn't remember her damn name. Or Mayari, season 15. Crystal Method, season 12. Selena Estites, season 15. Silky Nutmeg Ganache. This is her 3rd time coming on. It's her 4th time, right? Because she did season 11, All Star 6, and Canada versus the World season 2. And now this is her 4th time. So now she's doing All Stars 11. And we got Mother Has Arrived. And that would be Vivacious from season 6. Yeah, I told you season 6 was a packed show. We were talking about season 6 earlier. We were talking about Courtney Act. But yeah. So, and I have to say this. What I love about this season so far, queens of color. All of the girls are of color. It's not a white girl in sight. Because who is it? We got our Hispanic queens, which would be April Carrion, Crystal Method, and Selena Estites. We got our black queens, which would be Silky Nutmeg Ganache and Vivacious. And we have our Asian queen, Aura Mayari. So I'm liking it. And the girls wasted no damn time with the alliances and things of that the other. The one I felt like that was doing the most when it came to the alliances was Aura. She was trying to align herself with too many damn people. And the worst thing you could do is start making promises that you can't keep. So stop trying to align with Crystal. With Crystal's like, no, I want to kind of roll solo. I don't want to kind of align myself with an alliance just yet. Like, I'm just out here trying to do my own thing and navigate. And I don't want to spoil it for nobody, but I already know who the top 2 going to be in the next season, like in the finale. I'll give you a hint. One queen is from this bracket, and there's a queen from the next bracket. So, and I hope that with this, they bring back, so I ain't going to tell you who, but I'm just putting it out there. And, I'm actually hoping when they do the wild card situation, because y'all fucked up last season with y'all pick. Because I was thinking it was going to be, oh my God, what's the queen? The ice skater. I thought it was going to be her that should have made it at the end and bring the wild card. The wild card this season better be, why you mad though? Why you mad though? It better be Miss Morgan McMichaels, because Morgan was definitely cheated out of being a part of the bracket, because y'all only chopped it down to 2 queens that make it to the next thing, to the semifinals, then 3. So now in the first challenge, they had to write, sing, and perform queen on queen duets at the Shablammy Awards, which is actually quite funny. Can you imagine they actually came out with the Shablammy Awards? And then they had Renee Rapp on the show, who I didn't even recognize until they did a close. I was okay, that is Renee Rapp. So Renee Rapp was the guest judge alongside, your regulars, which would be Rue, Michelle Visage, and fine-ass Jamal Sims. And then but it's funny, I'm jumping ahead. So yeah, they had that. They pretty much the situation, and then the girls decided to patch up together. The funny thing is, like when I watched Vivacious, she hadn't performed in so long. You could definitely see the nervousness and stuff where because she ended up latching on to Silky, and they ended up doing like a little rap situation. And Silky was like, "Well, I don't rap. I wanted to sing, or whatever the case was." And to me, Silky definitely did a good job with the whole rap portion of the song that she did. It was cute, and Vivacious was kind of holding back, but I get it. She's, it's been a minute. She was nervous. I just don't want her to get the Mystique edit because Mystique was kind of like, I felt holding back in a lot of the challenges too. And them outfits was not up to par compared to the other girls. And then in that last bracket, which I guess we'll talk about it briefly, her and, the way she was going at Miss Girl, with the paper mache. I'm sitting there forgetting people's names and shit all of a sudden. But the way that her and Lucky Stars, that comes to me. Lucky Stars and the way she was berating her at times, I was getting mad. But then again, during that challenge that they did, Lucky, you was being annoying. So on one hand, I get it, but at the same time, the way that Mystique was undermining her and throwing like the shade, like being shady, I wasn't really feeling the situation. So in regards to the whole challenge situation, the girls had to listen to the tracks. They determined the individual situations. Vivacious went and did the rap-based HBF. Aura was drawn to Hoes Before Bros because, it's theatrical and she could sing. And the other four were trying to jump on the R&B ballad Dreaming of Me, which Dreaming of Me ended up going to April and Selena, which the funniest part was when Michelle was trying to coach April on how to hit them notes. Every time she kept saying, go up, go, she go, like low. It's like, no, bitch, go up. Stop going down. So I was just cackling the whole time, like, and I'm sitting there going through my whole little situation of a certain queen where she was like, find the note. Coco Montrese was like, find the note. She couldn't find that damn note. So so Aura went and did the Hoes Before Bros situation. This was cute, but it's like your typical what do you get when you do a fucking drag race track? It's not fucking Grammy Award winning music. It's just drag music. So so Silky went and did, was with the Vivacious, and they said, yeah, they pulled the coup, and the Spanish girl ended up getting the ballot. And then Silky, because she's been there so many damn times, she was like, you know what? I just need to prove that I am who I am. And another thing I did say, and it's funny how she's mentioned this in the whole situation. She was talking about how her first season when she was on the show, her and Evie constantly going at it, and the online bullying and all that she endured from a lot of the fandom talking about they hate Silky or whatever. And I'm like, Silky was annoying, but she didn't deserve the type of hate that she was getting. This shit was funny with her and the puppet. I definitely was having a cackle when I saw that. But so during the first season, she was a lot. She was loud. She was doing a little too much. And I think it was masking the fact of I gotta be the big, larger than life personality, but the talent and everything wasn't really up to par. The looks wasn't up to par. Her outfits definitely need a polish. And quiet as it's kept, that runway look where she had that damn butter written all over the back of that coat, that was a mess too. But I did like the little butter headpiece that she had on top of it, and it was melting all over her outfit. That was cute. And shout out to her for losing a lot of weight too. So Silky out here working and looking good and all the other stuff. But then she also said when she came on All Stars, and I said this for the moment, that I said she's holding back. She's holding back who she is, and she was doing that because she allowed the hate from the fandom get to her. So, and I feel like that affected her chance of being on, of excelling on All Stars. But I will say this, when they had them doing a whole battle to try to get back on the show, which I wish that Drag Race would go back to if they decided to do the go back to that format, they would have the queens secretly battling each other. So whoever makes it, they get to come back to the show and be a part of the top 5 or whatever the case that is. I actually like when they did that. And Silky was hilarious, especially her Barbie girl performance. That will forever be iconic, which Akira declined not to be a part of. So I was actually, living for that. And I'm glad that she finally found the right balance of, coming back and doing that whole thing. So yeah, the second challenge, everything happened. As they prepared to take the stage, Aura reignited alliance talk by approaching some of the girls with promises. She said she was gonna give her MVQ point to Crystal, but when Crystal basically was like giving her stone face, like you're not getting no kind of, I'm not giving you what you want. And then Aura went to Selena with the same promise. And I think they kind of started an alliance. So Aura, you basically jumping into this thing where you got to watch what you're doing. So she's a part of the Tres Leches Alliance. But let me tell you, when they said peck peck, I know laugh so damn hard about it. She's like, bitch, where did you learn that word? Which is basically pussy in Tagalog. Shout out to my Filipinos, my fellow Filipinos. I'm half Filipino. So when they went and they said, I was like, not y'all starting the Peck Peck Alliance. So they had the Tres Leches Alliance and they had the Peck Peck Alliance. So they got all these little alliances going on. And y'all got to be careful because we haven't seen where the points have gone yet. So we got to wait until the next episode, which is coming up in 4 days because it's Monday, on how the girls are going to vote and see who's going to get betrayed. And hopefully with that situation where you got Aura putting herself between a rock and a hard place, how messy things are going to get between the ladies. So one of the things I did like that April and Crystal basically said they want to give their point to the strongest in the challenge, but would have to rethink that if that queen already won the 3 points. So you can still give it to if it's not the strongest queen, if that person won, then give it to the runner-up who you think did a good job. Give them the point. That's what I would do instead of just being like, well, now I got to rethink it. It's like if that's not, then give it to your second choice. Now, following the duet performance and walking in the you better ask somebody category on the runway, the judges basically gave their critiques to all the queens. Renee recognized the strength that Vivacious exudes as a performer. But I will say that when you get these new judges on, they're only going to they don't want to hurt nobody's feelings or whatever the case is. That's why I love when Cardi was on there. She was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm a fan of the show. We're going to talk real and I'm going to give y'all real critiques. Everybody else like walking on eggshells. But we did see that Vivacious was nervous because it was like this. She hasn't done the show in like what? Over a decade. Can't think of a specific number because it was like what, season 6. Now we're in season 18. So it's like what, about 13 years that she has done Drag Race. I mean, she's popped up here and there, but like really being in a challenge, I get it. She's nervous. So, and I love me some Vivacious. So having her a part of the situation and just seeing that, yeah, she was nervous throughout the whole situation, it's like, I totally get it. Now, Silky definitely got high praise for stealing the show and a high drag runway outfit, even if Rue wasn't ready to call it crown worthy. Because yeah, like I said, I did like the other outfit under the coat. I didn't like the coat. The coat was too busy. It had a lot of stuff written on the back. It made it look tacky. It just took away from it. But the rest of the outfit, when she took that coat off, it was full on drag. The big butter headdress that she had to hold up because I know that shit was heavy, and the butter looking like it was melting all over her outfit. It definitely the concept definitely was well executed. I just didn't like the coat. And so then the judges appreciated, April's ability as a dancer and her verse despite not being a singer. Well, who needs to sing these days? The way that there's a lot of people out here who sound probably worse than Miss April and got a damn record deal. But and then Jamal called Selena's gown gorgeous and perfect, while Michelle and Rue both called out the lightness that she brought on the stage now compared to her original season. Well, yeah, she definitely calmed down because she was doing too much. It was like the personality was excessive, the outfits was busy and excessive. It was like you went everything in the kitchen sink on the runway and covering up your body because she was a big girl at the time and she lost a lot of weight. So now she seems like a little more confident. Although I will say during her performance for a ballad, you was doing too much in the performance aspect. You don't need to be doing all that extra dancing. It's like you was literally dancing like Kennedy Davenport to a ballad. It's like, bring it down. You ain't need to be doing all that. It was extra. So and then Ru was the first to acknowledge how strong Aura is as a singer before, well, you know how the Filipinos are. We are the karaoke queens out here. And gave the judges gave her flowers for matching Crystal's energy throughout. Now, the humor and high fashion silhouette of Crystal's runway looked paired. How strong of a performance she put on was wonderful to see. Now, based on the full package for the Bracket 2 debut challenge and overall purpose and objective they displayed, Rude, he selected Aura and Crystal as the top two of the week. And they performed to No More Tears, Enough is Enough by Barbara Streisand and Donna Summer. Crystal won, earning $10,000 and a coveted third point, and became the early point leader in the bracket. Or remain a happy second with her 2 points, while the bottom four prepare to deliver the MVQ points on top of the next episode, which is why I said you're going to have to wait till the next episode to find out how the girls is going to vote. And it'll be interesting to see how they decide to vote, but I'll definitely be watching as it progresses because, like I said, so far this has been a very entertaining first episode. It's been a while since I laughed this hard with all the stuff that was going on, especially with Silky and the puppet and the peck thing, and just a lot of the banter in the workroom. The girls seem very lively and comfortable and having a lot of fun. And I like this whole, I know a lot of people don't really like the bracket thing, but it's a way for the girls to showcase what they do. And then they get to go to a semifinal, and then that's when they start the eliminations and things. So I'm definitely curious to see how this whole season is going to work out. But so far, All Stars has definitely given me what I need and all of this. So I say all this to say in regards to entertainment. What do you guys think of this story? Were you just as pleased as I was with watching All Stars 11? Did you enjoy this previous episode that I felt I had so much fun with? I was compelled to just speak on it on this episode, which I don't normally be doing because Drag Race really ain't been giving me what I need as of late, especially that Chop season 18. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I already know who told you? You said the queen from the next bracket better deliver because allegedly she is the wild card pick. Who's half? I am part Filipino, is what I was saying. I like Filipino men too. You can't tell by the eyes. And you said the lip sync song with Donna and Streisand should have been saved for the top two finale. But yeah, because I was gonna say, I just feel like that would have been a good choice. I don't feel like either one delivered on that lip sync. I was disappointed. So I will agree with you on that. It was all right. There's nothing to brag home about. I've seen better. I don't want to watch the RuPaul invite with Kimmel. But according to Nina Bonina, Osama bin Laden Brown, her age is really starting to show. I ain't want to say it, but yeah, you definitely see all 65 years up in Rouge. She getting up there. She tired. It may be time to pass that mantle if you're not trying to keep the drag race thing going. It's like, yeah, you've done this show for almost 2 decades. Your stamina is not what it used to be. Michael Jackson overtook Lady Gaga on most Spotify listeners. Ooh, shout out to Michael. Even in death, he's still out here outpacing the girls. All right, but anyway, all right, y'all. Looks like we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning into the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Hit that like button, subscribe, smash the notification, hype, do all the things that need to be done to push this show out there and get more eyes on it and get more subscriptions. We're almost at 4K, so I'm excited over that. Oh yeah, I did hear about Ariana. Ariana did drop a recent single. I was like, oh, this is cute. It's taking me back to old school R&B Ariana. And you said Hilary Duff episode EP7 of her greatest hits re-recorded. Well, I guess this is her trying to get money from the re-recordings. Everybody's doing that now. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode, Lord willing. I mean, I don't think I got any messages asking for me to come into to the job tomorrow. So because they did hit me up earlier, was like, "Can you come into work today?" And I was like, "I can't because I'm working." I mean, this job, because I was like, "Yeah, I've been off grid," and I got red because somebody told me, "Oh, we doing reruns and stuff." I'm like, "Yes, we got to get them clips in there too." So when people don't sit and watch the full episodes or even aware of the full episodes, I clip out some of the stuff and I put up there for newer people to come in and watch it. And glad I did, because the video that I did of the Ryan Murphy Madonna segment is doing well. Let me see how many how well is it done? Okay, so far it's 756 views. It's only gonna keep going up. So we're doing some Madison Square Gardens, but I'm sure we do got some gays working up in there. I ain't the only one. um But yeah, so me putting out the clips and stuff, it definitely helps with getting more followers and all the other stuff. So that's why I put up the clips as well as, the full episode. So anyway, love you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and until next time, ciao darlings.